Today's NCAA 1AA playoff game between Florida A&M and Appalachian State features FAMU's explosive offense, including the lethal combo of Juwan Sider to Canaan Lamb. The Rattlers average 45 points a game. The defense of the Southern Conference's Appalachian State Mountaineers is swarming, only giving up 16 points a game. Someone's going down as NCAA first-round action is next. It's a bright, brisk Saturday in the mountains of North Carolina. We're in Boone, North Carolina, on the campus of Appalachian State University. Mountaineers from the Southern Conference take on the Rattlers of Florida A&M from the MEAC in this NCAA Division 1AA first-round matchup. Hello again, everyone. I'm Charlie Neal. Glad you could join us as MEAC College Football Saturday continues into the NCAA 1AA playoffs. Both Florida A&M and Appalachian State were in the playoffs a year ago. Both won their first-round matchups but lost in the quarterfinals. Both teams would like to advance past what they did a year ago. Let me bring in my partner, Ronnie Duncan. Ronnie, you look at these two teams. You're looking at two teams with contrasting styles. FAMU likes to put the ball in the air. Appalachian State keep the ball on the ground. Both physical teams, but when you look at Florida A&M, Canaan Lamb is the key to their offense so far this season.
Canaan Lamb is one of those special players. Number 4 is a young man who can definitely get into the end zone. 13 times done it this season for the Rattlers, and he's one of the top receivers in the country. Look at that, Charlie. 1,032 yards, 65 catches, 13.9 is the average. He's going to be a hand that put your hands on and to bring down, because it's what he does with the football. Once he catches it, that's extraordinary.
On the defensive side of the ball, the Mountaineers are very, very physical. They are aware of what the offense of Florida A&M is able to do, but Corey Hall is going to have his hands full, but he can occasion.
Charlie, he's a freak of nature. He is 6'4", 190 pounds. This young man is a finalist for the Buck Buchanan Award, one of the top defensive backs in the nation. He has 5 interceptions already on the season, and they say he can bring it on the football field. He's a very special player, and they say he could play on Sundays sometime in the future.
When you look at the quarterbacks in this particular game, both teams have played 2 quarterbacks at a time. But for the 2 teams that are playing here today, Jeremiah will get the start for the Mountaineers. It'll be Juwan Sider getting the start for the Rattlers.
You're talking about the offensive MEAC Player of the Year, Juwan Sider, and look at those numbers. They do not lie. 23 touchdowns, and look at the key. He doesn't like to make a lot of mistakes. But Daniel Jeremiah, he has something going for him as well. He is 10-1 as a starter, and guess what? FCS hasn't lost home in the last 2 years.
And they're 11-0 right here at Kidd Brewer Stadium. Back with the opening kickoff in just a moment.
In March 2000.
MEAC College Football Saturday is sponsored in part by Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service, the Marines, the few, the proud, the Marines, by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. Charlie Neal along with Ronnie Duncan at Kidd Brewer Stadium on the campus of Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina. FAMU against Appalachian State. 56 degrees, mostly sunny. It's a light 10 to 15 miles per hour. And the officials for today's game, they're from the ECAC. Ed Ardito is our referee. Rick Feeney is our umpire. Jim Rohde, head linesman. Tom Wheaton, the line judge. Dennis Blythe, the side judge. Dave Walker, the back judge. And Tim King is our field judge. Florida A&M has won the toss, has elected to receive. As you look at the Appalachian State kickoff team, Stuart Jones, number 28, senior out of Asheville, North Carolina, has the ball on the tee, and he's ready to kick it off as we start this 1AA playoff here. And it will go out of the end zone. It will not be returned. It'll be a touchback, and that'll bring Florida A&M's offense on the heel to take possession at their own 20-yard line, first down and 10. Juwan Sider is the quarterback for the Rattlers of Florida A&M, the MEAC Coach of the Year. A young man who transferred into Florida A&M this year from West Virginia. Wanted to play linebacker. They wanted him to play linebacker at West Virginia. He said, no, I want to play quarterback. And there he is, Juwan Sider. He's out of Belglade, Florida. He is a senior from Central High. working out of the shotgun on 1st down and 10. Lone set back in the backfield with him. Kidd Williams. 1st and 10. First play of the ball game. Sider back to pass. Throws. Has it complete on the near side. And out of bounds is Cedric Mitchell. And Cedric Mitchell run out of bounds by Wesley Hunter. As you look at the Florida A&M offense, Carey, Nua, Agnew, and Moore, the men up front, a line that averages 330. Williams, Ken Williams, Travis Williams, when there is 2 backs in the backfield, is along with Walton Mitchell, Nunley, and Lamb. The U.S. Postal Service brought you the starting lineups. Set on 2nd down is Sider on the carry, and Jimmy Freeman is there to make the stop out of Shelby, North Carolina, wearing number 40. Let's look at the USPS starting defensive alignment for the Mountaineers of Appalachian State, who come in with a record of 9-2. They are 7-1. They have Freeman, Williams, Lover, Hunt, Seaburns, Ramseur, and Hunter. Linebackers in the line. We'll bring you the defensive secondary in a moment. On 1st and 10, Sider back to pass again. Throws out in the flat. Has it complete on the sideline. And picking up the yards up to about the 40 is Demetrius Bendros. Corey Hall, the man we spoke about in our opening, was the man who ran him out of bounds. The secondary for the Mountaineers: Wallowo, Payne, Corey Hall, and Phil Day. Payne is one of the co-captains of this team. It is 2nd down for the Mountaineers. Should say for the Rattlers. And here's Sider into the secondary of Appalachian State, all the way down to about the 34-yard line before Awalowo and Jermaine Kilby come up to make the stop, and there's a penalty flag on the play. First one of the ball game.
Once again, Charlie, is the versatility of a very fine quarterback in Jawan Sider. He showed you his ability to run the football, and FAMU is the penalty is against the Mountaineers. One thing we must mention about the star of this game: Jacque Nunley is not in the game.
Jacque Nunley had some ankle problems. He's had a variety of injuries throughout the season, from a hamstring to a knee, and now I understand an ankle that he suffered in the last ball game against Bethune-Cookman.
Absolutely happened in the 3rd quarter, and that was a major concern, and so far they've been able to move the football without him.
On 1st and 10, after the face mask penalty, and they have a pass complete, and it's on the far sideline, and again, Bendros on the reception. Kilby out of Thomasville, North Carolina, a freshman, right there to make the stop.
One of the main concerns for the Mountaineers coming into this game, even though this is their home field, this is their turf, they recognize the importance of stopping the run as well as the pass. And as you can see, anytime this young man gets plenty of time to pass, he will do it. Jawan Sider, MEAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
2nd down from 29 of Appalachian State. Sider on the pitch to Ken Williams down inside the 25 to about the 24-yard line. And he is stopped by Corey Hall out of Athens, Georgia, whose brother Joey played here a year ago in the Detroit Lions training camp earlier this season.
They say he is the player of the year when you speak of the Mountaineers, and I talk about Corey Hall. At 6'4", 190 pounds, he does not look like a very physical player, but they say he can simply bring it. He loves the hit. As a matter of fact, 103 tackles worth, 83 of them solo.
3rd down and 4 for Florida A&M. Blitz being shown by the Mountaineers. Quick pass, and it's complete. And out of bounds goes Kanan Lamb, but a 1st down as he's tripped up by Chuck Payne at about the 5, make it the 6-yard line.
Little Chucky Payne, he can bring the pain, and he's got the game. This is a young man they say is the strong safety. He is the heart and soul of this defense, especially in the secondary. And the one thing about you, the Rattlers, anytime they catch the ball, it's what they do after they catch it. And look at that look of disgust right there on the look at his face, because he recognizes one thing, Mr. Lamb: he could have gone for more yards.
Sider back to pass, looking into the end zone. Lamb has it. Touchdown! Florida A&M, 16 yards for Kanan Lamb. That is his 14th touchdown reception of the year, the 24th pass by Jawan Sider that went for 6.
14 touchdowns on the season for number 4, Kanan Lamb. He recognizes even before that there was a possibility he could have gotten into the end zone. And for Jerry Moore, the head coach of the ASU Mountaineers, his stomach is hurting right now. And the reason why, he recognized that one thing they had to do was stop the pass, the air attack of the FAMU Rattlers. And the Rattlers are off and going. They want to score early. They want to score fast. And it was a nice little fade pattern. That young man has definitely should have been, in my opinion, first team all MEAC. He's a second teamer, but when you get over 1,000 yards the way he has, it's extraordinary.
So we get an unsportsmanlike conduct against Florida A&M, which makes this about a 35-yard extra point attempt with Jeremy Edwards, who's pretty adept for the left-footed kicker at kicking field goals and extra points out of Marianna, Florida. But Florida A&M goes 80 yards on the first possession of the ball game, and there's another penalty flag now. They used up 1:55 of the clock. 8 plays.
There was a lot of talk here at Appalachian State that
now this is going to be a 40-yard extra point.
Well, that's a long extra point. But there was a lot of talk at the start of the day as to whether or not the weather conditions would not be conducive to the FAMU. I was talking to head coach Billy Joe. He says, my big guys love it. They're big guys. They love the cold weather.
Kick is up. It's long enough. And it is no good. So the extra point is missed, but FAMU is up on the scoreboard. 13:05 to go first quarter. Kanan Lamb under reception, and it's 6-0 FAMU. There's Kanan Lamb, the young man who's put Florida A&M on the board, had a couple of key receptions in that 80-yard drive, a senior out of North High down in Miami, Florida, and was the 3rd leading receiver in the MEAC at the end of the regular season. Jeremy has to take it off. And it'll be Darryl Skinner 1 yard deep into his own end zone. He brings it out. Skinner out to the 21-22 line. And that's where the Mountaineers go to work as Troy Hart made the stop for Florida A&M. The Greyhound scoring drive was an 8-play, 80-yard drive. Minute 55 off the clock. Lamb capped with the 15-yard touchdown reception. Now let's look at the USPS Appalachian State starting offense. Brian Meats, Brox, Fitzpatrick, and Holiday are the men up front. They average 284 pounds. They run out of the I formation on first down and 10. Skinner is the man in position, and the handoff goes to Cornatzer. And the Appalachian State backs with David Reeves as the quarterback. Make that Jeremiah starting today at quarterback. Cornatzer, the sacks. Slade, the receivers, along with Skinner, and the tight end is Overman out of West Mecklenburg High down in Mooresville, North Carolina. It'll be 2nd down. Make it 9 after a gain of 1 on that last play. 2nd and 9 from the shotgun. This time, looks like Jeremiah is going to work. He can put the ball in the air. He has impressive stats as a starter. Razak again on the carry, and he is tripped up before he can get loose by Tony Cola, his 2nd straight tackle on the defensive side of the ball for Florida A&M. Now let's look at the USPS defensive line for the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Jerron Daly, 2nd team all-conference, along with Evie Parsons, Othello Vaughn, and Tyron Johnson, who was a 1st team all-conference. Corey Johnson, defender for the Rattlers this year. The linebackers, Warren, Bynum, Cola, and Fields in the secondary consist of Slade, Mitchell, Ashley, Gray, and Vickers on 3rd down. Jeremiah has it almost intercepted, and it was tipped by Wendell Ashley, who had a big interception against Bethune-Cookman.
Watch it once again as you see Jeremiah gets out of that pocket. Wendell Ashley gets his hands right there on the football. He's saying to himself, my goodness, I could have gotten a big turnover. And that was a key series for the defense of FAMU, being able to shut down Jeremiah. Remember, Jeremiah has not lost a game this year. When you talk about as a starter, he is 10-1 over his career here for the Mountaineers, and they are undefeated here at home.
Back to punt it away is Brian Riley. He gets off a good one, and it is being blocked by Kanan Lamb. Lamb inside and finally dropped at the 40-yard line. Goes Canaan Lamb by Darrell Skinner. So Florida A&M gets the ball for the second time this afternoon at their own 40.
Canaan Lamb is so very good. Look at this. Crowned the first ever Division I AA champs back in 1978. The answer to that question, the Rattlers of Florida A&M University. There's the man, Juwan Sider. He's the quarterback, threw for over 2,000 yards this season and a bunch of touchdowns and only 2 interceptions.
Talking about that team in 1978, as they keep the ball on the ground with Williams on the carry. They lost only 1 game that year, and that was to Tennessee State, but in the title games, they beat Jackson State and the University of Massachusetts for the title. Back in 1978, Rudy Hubbard was the coach of the Rattlers when that happened. It is second down, 2nd and 8 after a gain of 2. Sider again, he's going to keep it this time, and he carries across the 45 to the 46-yard line. And I guess the most amazing stat, other than the fact that he's thrown 23 touchdowns coming into today's game as Seaverns made the stop for the Mountaineers, was the fact that he rushed for 521 yards, just under 5 yards a carry, and 10 touchdowns. In fact, had a 71-yarder this year. And there's what third down conversion looks like for the Rattlers throughout the regular season. On third down, the pass incomplete. It hit the ground before it was caught by Cedric Mitchell. So to bring up a 4th down punting situation for Florida A&M.
See right there, the defense is working on the bench, mapping out the plan, what they want to do. And you know, the one thing they have to do is stop the running game. Make sure Kareem is inside. And then also stop that passing game. You're talking about a fine wing when you mention the Mountaineers. The Mountaineers can pass the football. Even though they're known so much for a running football conference, I'm talking about the Southern Conference, the Mountaineers simply can play.
Matt Carlton, senior out of Lake City, Florida, back to do the punting for Florida A&M, averaging 35.4 yards per punt. It's a good one. Skinner drives all the way back to his 5 before he can retrieve it. And he finally gets away from one man, but he's going to be dropped inside the 5 at the 4. And the Mountaineers are buried deep in their own territory as he was brought down by Andre Brooks.
Excellent special team coverage for the Rattlers of FAMU. Watch it this once again. When you see this, you wonder whether or not maybe he should have just let the ball drop and maybe taken it at the 20-yard line. But he tries to come out of it, and right there, he's hit by the Rattlers, and they wrap him up. You know why FAMU has on the white uniform today? We've seen them in the green. We've seen them in the orange. They are 0 for defeats in the white, 2-0 this season.
Struggle on AstroTurf, though. Only the 3rd time this season as Jeremiah keeps it, gains about 5 yards up to about the 9-yard line before Tony Cola out of Wyndham High in Pensacola, Florida, made a stop. As I said, this was only the 3rd time they played on turf this year. They lost once to Tennessee State in Atlanta and Georgia Dome, and they had to go to 3 overtimes before beating Howard University. See, this is excellent defensive pursuit because you've got to follow the lanes anytime you've got motion on the football on the offensive side. This young man, though, heck of a player, number 17, I'm liking Daniel Jeremiah, 10-1 as a starter. He's no jokes, folks. Jack on the carry, trying to get a little breathing room. Gets it out to about the 11, maybe the 12-yard line. If you're looking for similarities that perhaps FAMU may have faced in the MEAC, perhaps the closest team that I can use as far as personality is concerned is North Carolina A&T, the conference champions. They love to pound the football. Now look at the 3rd down conversions here, 43%. That's a huge number, almost 44% on 3rd down conversions, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They can simply mix it up, the Mountaineers. From the shotgun on 3rd down and short. Jeremiah has some running room in front of him, but decides to throw it, and he has it complete. And it's complete to the tight end, Daniel Wilcox, a junior out of Atlanta, and he's stopped by Aaron Gray for the 1st down for the Mountaineers. Jeremiah to Wilcox, you see him, the athleticism, being able to roll out. He could have perhaps made that 1st down himself. He could have beat that linebacker, but of course, he goes for it. Well, for some reason or other, there must have been a penalty. So they're going to move the ball back, and there's going to be a punting situation facing the Mountaineers after a flag on the play. So that goes for naught. The 1st down was picked up, but the penalty flag hurt them. Penalties will hurt you. They're averaging 81 penalties a game. That is Appalachian State. Punting from deep in his own end zone is Brian Riley. Another tremendous punt, driving Canaan Lamb to the 30. He gets a pretty good block at the 35-yard line and is finally run out of bounds at the 43 by Jimmy Freeman. And we'll be back. 6-0 Fans here in Boone.
Ford, where the only deals we get faked are the ones we don't see.
Who would think they would have been sweating in North Carolina in November?
Well, see, Charlie, that's all that hard work they're doing out there. That's all that hard work the Rattlers are doing out there, getting their sweat on.
But this is probably the worst day they've had weather-wise this season, they said. Canaan Lamb, the quick slant, has the connection from Juwan Sider up to the 49-yard line. Chuck Payne was there to make the stop defensively.
Juwan Sider's off to a great start. As a matter of fact, he is 6 of 7 passes so far in the game, and the reason why they're going to test that secondary. The linebackers for the Mountaineers, they are just wild men. They're all over the field. As a matter of fact, 2 of those linebackers used to be defensive secondary folks.
Ken Williams on the carry, not much running room as Jamie Lovern was right there to make the stop along with Ryan Watson. So it'll bring up a 3rd down, 3rd and about 1 for the Rattlers of Florida A&M. They have to get to the 48-yard line. The ball is spotted at the 49. Kenny Williams. And he's dropped down immediately. Again on the stop was Ryan Watson, a sophomore out of Largo, Florida. And of course, I'm sure he'd like to have a good game against a team from his home state. And it's a 4th down situation. I think Billy Joe may go for it. 4th and inches. Sider up close, and he carries, and the ball is fumbled and picked up by Ken Williams. But they get the 1st down. Or are they going to say he was down? The line judge is saying that the ball was down. So there is a 1st down for the Rattlers of Florida A&M. On 4th down conversions this year, that's only the 15th time they've gone for it, and they're 8 of 15 in 4th down conversions.
You talked about the fact that the Rattlers haven't been extremely successful on turf. However, in speaking with head coach Billy Joe, he believes that Kenny Williams will have a huge game today because of that.
From the shotgun on 1st down, Sider under pressure. First pressure he's felt today. He's going to be dropped as he continues to struggle for only maybe a 1-yard loss. So that's pretty good as Wesleyan Hunter out of Guilford High down in Greensboro, North Carolina, who moved from defensive back a year ago to that outside linebacker spot, came up to make the stop, and it's a 1-yard loss. Make it a 2-yard, 2nd and 12.
Wesleyan Hunter was all over the play, and the reason why, that's something they've been working on. We were here yesterday, Charlie, and we saw it. A lot of the corner blitz, a lot of the safety blitz, and the linebackers. The reason why they want to stop the passing attack of the Rattlers.
2nd and 12. Sider stands, throws, has a complete. And Kilby comes up to make the stop on Demetrius Bendros.
Demetrius Bendros is going to have a huge game today, and the reason why, number 86, when you speak of Jacque Nunley out with the ankle problem. Number 86 is the kind of guy that loves to step up into the action. We've seen him do it far too often this season on the MEAC Game of the Week.
3rd and 5 for Florida A&M. Sider intercepted and is picked off. Coming back with it defensively is Julius Seaverns. Seaverns with the interception for Seaverns. His 3rd interception of the season.
Seaverns laying back in the zone is only the 3rd interception that Juwan Sider has thrown all season. Number 27, Seaverns sits back there, and he makes sure that he is not going to leave his territory. So you play the lanes in the zone, goes back. He thinks he has a completion. Oh no, and steps. Seaverns, and it's an interception, and now the Mountaineers are trying to get on the scoreboard.
So they start in FAMU territory. The ball at the 7-yard line.
That's an interesting stat. +4. That's what they do on turnover ratio.
Not much happening there as Vernon Mitchell stood up, the running back. On the carry. That was Reza. On the carry. Saw the defensive stand of the Rattlers of Florida A&M, and a loss of maybe a half a yard on the play. They get a 2nd and 11.
Mountaineers get their bread and butter on one play, and it is the run. And so far, FAMU, the linebackers, and the ends are doing an incredible job. And anytime you've got the guys up front doing their job, it makes the job much easier for the linebackers as well as the corners.
From the shotgun again, Jeremiah on the option, pitches it and is dropped. Could have been disaster had they not been able to pick it up. Jerron Daly was right there to make sure it wasn't advanced anymore from the young man from Wolford High in Winston-Salem.
Jerron Daly kept his space, and anytime you can keep your position on the football field, you see you're causing problems. And that was a turnover ratio. You see it, +9. 26-4, 17 again. Razak doesn't want to see that happen again.
It is third down. Just a little more than 10. From the shotgun again, Daniel Jeremiah is working. He has a man out in the flat. And he had a good defensive play as Razak made the catch, but he was brought down immediately by Wendell Ashley. Ashley leg whipped him and made sure he didn't get far. Corey Johnson also there. As we see, a punting team will come on once again for the Mountaineers. They'll be punting from the Florida A&M 45.
We saw the end result of that play, but the reason that play has happened, the pressure they're putting on the quarterback. You see, Daniel Jeremiah hasn't seen this type of pressure all year long, and he was one of the best punters in the country, and Brian Riley, he was all Southern Conference. That kid can simply boot it.
He's been getting off some good ones, professional-looking today. This one will travel into the end zone, and Florida A&M will get their fourth offensive possession. They've had one mistake today, so that wasn't costly. The Rattlers. 6-0, the Rattlers of Florida A&M leading Appalachian State here. First round of this NCAA 1AA playoff. Last year, Florida A&M won their first round matchup with Troy State 27-17 before losing the quarterfinals to Western Illinois 24-21. Florida A&M 3-3 in 1AA postseason playoff. First and 10, Sider to Ken Williams. Ken Williams banging straight ahead, and Ken Williams about 4 yards on the play. Justin Averns, the man who had the interception a moment ago, came up to make the stop defensively.
See, the one thing the Mountaineers are doing right now, Charlie, is they're putting a lot of cushion to the air attack of FAMU. And when you give them that much respect, then you can get those little cheap yards of 4 and 5 and 7 yards, an extra running game for a guy like Ken Williams. He could have a huge day today.
On the shotgun, Sider stands in there, throws out flat, has it complete, and run out of bounds in front of his own bench. Cedric Mitchell, beat by Jermaine Kilby. Kilby has been a busy man, the freshman out of Thomasville, North Carolina. As you look at the stats on Cedric Mitchell, the kid out of Central High in Miami.
Cedric Mitchell gets a lot of space, gets a lot of time, and that's something Sider had. Look at that. You don't even see a defender there. That is too much respect for FAMU.
Ken Williams on the run. First down, Ken Williams across the 40 to about the 42, 43-yard line. Chuck Payne out of Kiatan High in Hampton, Virginia, came up to make the stop.
Chuck Payne putting on the pain, but the pain was not enough. There are the numbers for the young man out of Baltimore, Maryland. 674 yards and 11 touchdowns. He'd like to get into the end zone, but he could have a big day if they keep showing all this respect for the passing attack of the Rattlers.
Sider sacked. And it was Rennie Awolowo who came in to make the sack.
Rennie Awolowo, he is no joke. As a matter of fact, yesterday, Charlie, I saw them practice this drill time and time again. In the corner and on the corner blitz. This is a guy who is tied along with Hall for the top in interceptions. Watch this, a great decision of hanging on for, of course, Sider. But when you talk about rollaway, hey, that kid can bring it.
That's the 22nd time this season they've sacked the opposition. They're looking at a safety blitz once again, coming from the outside. Sider will be sacked again 2 times in a row. Coming in this time with the big sack was Harold Williams, and he was assisted by Jamie Lovern.
They both got in there. Harold Williams, you'll see him, number 97. The reason why, look at that. See the corner coming in, flushing the quarterback back into the pocket. And when he does that, the guys up front simply say, you're nothing but dead meat for me, baby. Just come on so we can eat it on up.
So the drive that had advanced all the way up to the 43-yard line. They're now facing a 3rd down and 24. A lot of real estate ahead of them from their own 30-yard line. throws, and it's going to be way short. He had some pressure up front from Justin Severns, and it'll bring on a punting situation. And the Mountaineers hold after it looks like they were bending. They didn't break, and they came up with 2 big defensive sacks.
Jerry Moore is the head coach of the Mountaineers, and it is obvious he has made some tremendous adjustments according to FAMU. Obviously, sure, they're showing good respect for the passing game, but they're putting more pressure on the quarterback, and you saw it in that last series as DeJuan Sider just wasn't sitting back there to write his name and give out autographs. He had to be concerned about the defense, too.
Carlton's kick goes off the side of his foot. It's going to be short, and it's going to take a bounce in favor of the Mountaineers and go out of bounds at the 48 of Florida A&M, and that's where ASU, Appalachian State University, will go on the offensive side of the ball for the 4th time this afternoon. Boston Productions accommodations have been provided by the Ramada Limited in Lenoir, North Carolina. Located off of Highway 321 in Lenoir, the Ramada Limited features great breakfast to start your day. For reservations, simply call 1-844-RAMADA. Charlie Neal, Ronnie Duncan here, under 2 minutes to go, first quarter. 6-0 Florida A&M, but the Mountaineers in good field position and good running that time by Reza.
You know, FAMU right now is trying to figure out a way how they can make adjustments. And right now, you know, Juwan Sider is talking to the man upstairs. And I'm talking about the coach, Billy Joe. He's got Kareem. Watch him rise up. He finds the hole. He is a talented running back, and he is out of this state. And he can definitely do it and run out of this world. Don't let number 13 get loose, because if he does, he'll be in the end zone. That's where you can find him at his address.
Second down, we'll call it 2. The ball at the 40-yard line of Florida A&M. Jeremiah calling the signals. On the option to the right side, pitches back, and a first down before running down. Just gained. And on the carry this time, Vernon Mitchell on the stop. That was Chris Charles.
As you can see, Jeremiah strings it out well, and the reason he does so is that it is the running attack. The diving tackle is there, but it's enough to get a first down, and that's all they care about right now.
That was Albee actually on the carry. Lincoln Georgia Jr., who transferred from Georgia Military College. When he played there, his school was 6th in the National Junior College poll. First down and 10. And Albee again on the carry, and Albee down to the 30-yard line. Troy Albee came into the game with 3 touchdowns, a 6.3 per carry average before Richard Brooks to make the stop for the Rattlers.
You talk about Kareem, and you also got Albee, but the reason they can do so many great things, the offensive line is moving people. Anytime you're able to shift people over to the right and to the left, there's a hole. And as a running back, you have to have the vision to hit that hole early and hit it fast, and you can get some positive yards.
Should be the last play of the first quarter. From the 30-yard line, second down and about 3. The option, Jeremiah keeps it, cuts it back, and he's down to the 25-yard line, and he has a first down before Corey Johnson can make the stop.
Once again, another first down, and again, Charlie, you've got the activity of the offensive line. What I like about Jeremiah here is this. He makes the quick pass, fake that is, and when he once he makes that fake, he sees that little hole and he says, I can get this first down. That's exactly what he did. Daniel Jeremiah, they call it a 2-headed monster here, and the reason why, he's not the only quarterback in town. There's another guy we can see, David Reeves. His daddy has great bloodlines from the NFL. He also played big time on Sundays. I'll tell you more about him later.
On first and 10, they keep it to Albee. Albee bounces it outside, still on his feet, turns the corner, still tackles, and has finally run out of bounds on the last play of the first quarter by Corey Johnson, but not before he got to the 13-yard line. It'll be a third down and 1, second and 1 when we come back. As we start the second quarter, the Rattlers of Florida A&M with their backs against the wall. And it's actually a 3rd and 2 for the Mountaineers. The ball at the 19-yard line of Florida A&M. Luke Manuel, the man in motion. And we get probably a legal procedure against the Mountaineers. And that'll be a 5-yard penalty. So instead of 3rd and 2, it'll be a 3rd and 7. And let's check out our first quarter Bank of America stats. We see that the yards rushing are pretty equal. between the two schools, but the pass advantage goes to the Rattlers. Also the first downs. The Rattlers have a turnover, but it did not hurt them so far. They've been penalized twice, and they've had the ball 2 more minutes. So the game has been pretty even for all practical purposes. Jeremiah's only thrown 3 passes in the game. He's got a passing situation here. Rolls out to the right. Takes off and decides he's going to run it. Falls down, but he's going to be shy of a first down. Othello Vaughn was there to make sure he didn't get very far.
Once again, Jeremiah showing his toughness and showing the simple fact that he's a heck of a runner. He's a heck of a runner. Watch him here. You see, he'll roll. He'll see a possible receiver, but see, there's too much of that great territory open for him, and he saw the possibility of getting the first down, but fortunate for the Rattlers, he wasn't able to.
So Charles checks into the lineup, as does Scott Murphy. We'll see a 2 tight end offense here right now on 3rd down and 3. Straight ahead, Albee knocked down before he could get there, and the man who hit him was Othello Vaughn out of Decatur, Georgia's southwest DeKalb High, bringing up a 4th down situation.
Wow. He may have had a tough time getting through, but the reason why that defense clogged up that hole, he saw an opening. Before Albee was able to make it good on it, he was shut down.
So a 35-yard field goal attempt by Stuart Jones, who was 5 of 12 in field goal kicking this season. And this one is no good. No good. So neither team in the kicking department has come through. Florida A&M has missed an extra point. The Mountaineers have missed a 35-yard field goal.
Huge play. We'll find out how big it is, especially at the end, and the reason why. Look at the Rattler fans. They're happy. He did not have good footing, and you could see it there on the replay. And the reason why he didn't have the proper balance when he came to kick it.
From their own 20, leading 6-0. Florida A&M, Sider, and he's going to keep it and run straight ahead from the 20, and he gets out to about the 23-yard line. Jawan Sider out of Belle Glade, Florida. Jim Freeman out of Shelby, North Carolina, came up to make the stop defensively. Billy Joe, 13 years as the head coach of the, I should say 6 years as the head coach at Florida A&M. 13 years he spent at Central State before coming over to Florida A&M. This team has won 12 national titles under 4 different head coaches. Sider escapes one man, tries to throw to Canaan Lamb, but the ball was a little bit behind him, but there was pressure on the quarterback, Jawan Sider.
The adjustments have been made defensively, and now FAMU must make its adjustments offensively. And did you know this? Take a look at this. 16-11-0 all time on TV games. That's the record for the Mountaineers. They love to be in the county.
They're 1-0 when I'm broadcasting their games. They beat the Citadel in 1983 when Mac Brown was coaching in a game that I did for CBS back then. Sider, quick drop. Cedric Mitchell has it. Cedric Mitchell has the first down, and he's down at the 35-yard line. Cedric Mitchell on the reception. Jermaine Kilby on the stop.
They call it the get it and run. It's what the FAMU receivers do once they catch the football, and it is quite interesting. Typical run after for the Rattlers of FAMU. Watch them here. See, you've got 2 different receivers on the same side. And when you've got that many, it can confuse the defense, and that's exactly what happened. Which guy do we cover? Which guy do we go with? It's too late. There's a reception.
Sider, he decides to keep it, and Sider takes it up to the 39-yard line before Tim Ramseur came up to make the stop defensively. And if you notice the passes that Sider's thrown, none of them have been bombs or long passes. They've been the short 5 to 8-yard passes, and they let the receivers do the job after they catch the ball.
Most definitely, you can see it. There's a lot of field to work with, and of course, Sider's taking advantage of it.
And Sider has another first down across the 45 to about the 47 as Ramseur again had to come up to make the stop, marked it at the 49.
That was set up by the lineman, and you can see the blocks there, and it was pretty awesome.
They're going without a huddle. They're going so quick, they're not letting sprints get set. Sider again takes off, and he's tripped up right at the line of scrimmage, but gains a yard across the midfield stripe to about the 49. Wesleyan Hunter there defensively.
Now you talk about a lot of hair outside of a helmet. Look at the center, baby. Noah, what kind of pick did he use?
That's the center, Noah. And this is another pass complete down to about the 44-yard line to Robert Walton, and Wesleyan Hunter again on the stop defensively.
Walton with a fine reception, but you know what? I'm just trying to figure out what kind of helmet my man is using. I mean, he's got hanging out the helmet. Reminds me of Oscar Gamble back in the baseball days with the Cleveland Indians.
Quick pass to the flat, trying to get to the first down marker, and they're going to say it's forward progress in the first down at about the 41-yard line, but Wesleyan Hunter, who's been busy trying to cover these quick, fleet-footed receivers for the Rattlers of Florida A&M. And to start once again, but it's another first down for the Rattlers.
Here's the big man on defense, number 24. I'm talking about Mr. Hall, but you've got to like the effort here. The forward progress is what they're looking forward to, and I want a first down, but Hall says we've got to keep you down.
Ken Williams, who has not been thrown for any negative yards except one time this whole year, picks up some positive yards there as Jason Sowell made the stop. The most amazing stat for Kenny Williams is the fact that only out of all the attempts that he has run the ball this year, which is 123, he's only been dropped for a 5-yard loss. Low snap, Sider picks it up, throws a little too high. Had Caden Lamb open at about the 20-yard line, but overthrew him.
That time he definitely did. He's getting some time to pass the football, but you know what? He's getting pressure too. You see those black jerseys, they're in front of the pitcher, and if he holds onto that football a little longer, he's going to taste what it feels like to be hit by a Mountaineer.
Third down and 3. Here's what FAMU has done today. They're 3 of 7. And the receiver fell down and tried to reach back. That's Bendros. Almost came up with the kick laying on his back. Phil Crum was there defensively, but it'll bring up a 4th down situation, and that'll bring on the punting unit as they are stopped at about the 36-yard line.
Let's see this one more time. As you can see, there's your quarterback. He almost had it coming back to the ball, but you know what? When you fall, it's hard to get up sometimes.
Matt Carlton on to do the punting. This will be his 3rd punt of the afternoon. And this one will carry into the end zone, and it'll be brought out to the 20. First down and 10. The Mountaineers, they trail it by 6 when we come back.
Provided by U.S.
And that's what it's all about, being a student athlete. And right now, Florida A&M holding on to a 6-0 lead, but the Mountaineers have the ball. We're in the second quarter. Charlie Neal along with Ronnie Duncan here at Kidd Brewer Stadium. On the campus of Appalachian State, Kidd Brewer Stadium, on the campus of Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina. First down and 10. Keeping the ball on the ground. Out to about the 22-yard line is Razak. Razak out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He was born in Costa Rica, came to the United States when he was 10 years of age, one of 8 kids. Mr. Razak, quite a story.
Quite a young man, too, but when you consider both of these teams, 9-2, the Mountaineers, and of course the Rattlers at 8-3, both are coming out of conferences that have placed 2 teams in the field of 16 for the NCAA 1AA championship, and I think that's extraordinary. North Carolina A&T will play later today against Tennessee State.
On the option, Razak going around the right side and finally run out of bounds after a gain of a couple. Vernon Mitchell was there to make the stop defensively. Speaking of Vernon Mitchell, one of the defensive players for this Rattler team that made first team all MEAC.
Once again, the crew that we're working with, the MEAC Crew of the Week, continues to do a great job. Anytime you can see great pictures like this, you got to come join us next year. And of course, the basketball season is coming up, and you're going to be working with Bobby Dandridge, and you guys are going to be doing a heck of a lot of games. And of course, you can see him right here on this station. It gives you the MEAC Game of the Week.
On 3rd down, 3rd and about 5. Jeremiah looking, thinks he has some room, throws, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Richard Brooks. First down, Rattlers at the 38-yard line of Appalachian State.
They were in the man-to-man, and Richard Brooks stepped right in front of the football. You will see it right here. Rolling out. Normally he runs with the football on a rollout, and I'm talking about Jeremiah. But this time he makes a huge mistake. You see that? He acted as if that pass was intended for him. He was moving with the quarterback, and that was such a huge play. Anytime you see a defender that way and play it that well, Richard Brooks with the interception.
Each team with one turnover today, both by way of interceptions. Can FAMU capitalize? Appalachian State was unable to. Demetrius Bendros. And Bendros has the reception and out of bounds, close to a first down. If he doesn't have it, Jermaine Colby ran him out, and it is a first down for the Rattlers.
He is so dangerous. I'm talking about Mr. Bendros filling in for Jacquay Nunley, and he is picking up the slack in a huge way. See, it's not important once he catches the ball. It's what he does and the extra damage he does once he catches it on the run.
Canaan Lamb, 6 points, touchdown, Florida A&M. They made it look easy, 26 yards away.
Charlie, he made it look so easy because he separated himself between the defenders. And anytime you get some space between the defenders and the quarterback can find you, it's nothing but 6 on their side. And that was a great timing pattern play. We'll see it again. I'm talking about Canaan Lamb. He is a heck of a player. And you know what? Those Rattler fans, they have traveled all the way up on 95, got on 85, and made their way over here to the Mountaineer country. This is extraordinary. They're going for the 2-point conversion right now, Charlie. Maybe they can make it 14-0 early.
Ken Williams, the lone setback. Sider working from the shotgun. And it's the option. Throws it. And we don't have a flag. But we do have a flag. It's a late flag. There is a flag. There is a late flag that comes in. Let's see if it's against the Mountaineers.
It should be against the Mountaineers because it appeared as if they put pressure on the defender.
No, I believe it's against FAMU. Ineligible man downfield. So the extra points don't hold up. But it's 12-0 FAMU. And we have 9:27 left here, second quarter. $12-0, the Rattlers. Some of the faithful that's traveled from Tallahassee or wherever they may reside to come and root their team on. As the Rattlers of Florida A&M have taken a 2-touchdown advantage. This one is deep. Skinner will not bring it out, and the Mountaineers will have the ball. First down and 10 at their own 20, and let's look at the 26-yard pass from Jawan Sider to Canaan Lamb, the second time they've hooked up today.
I tell you what, good defense makes good offense. Of course, you got Richard Brooks with the interception, Canaan Lamb with the touchdown, 26 yards, and then, of course, Jawan Sider right now, huge numbers, 13 of 19. And look at that, our Greyhound scoring drive, 2 plays, 38 yards, time just 13 seconds. Doesn't take a lot to score. Canaan Lamb, 4 receptions, 57 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's having one huge day.
This time it's Albee, and Albee gains 5 out to about the 25-yard line. And it was Corey Johnson defending for the Rattlers of Florida A&M, a first-team all-conference player. Here's Albee. Albee out of Lincoln, Georgia. 3 touchdowns credit this season. Came into the game with 467 yards and a 0.3 per yard carry average.
If you ever want an indication of how well the Rattlers are going to play, you just have to simply watch them. Will they bring their A game? Will they bring that D game? The one they say they brought last week against North Carolina A&T. And as you can see, that's an A game play, getting a hand on the football up front with the defense and another quarterback. Of course, that's Mr. Reeves. I'm talking David Reeves. And the reason why they call it the 2-headed monster, but this time the 2-headed monster got a rude welcome and a greeting from FAMU. As you can see it, defensive end comes right in and lands on the quarterback as well as putting pressure on the ball and gets a block. As you can see, a total offense, look at that, huge for FAMU, 189 yards, ASU just 64.
Valrico, Florida is where David Reeves, the junior, is from. He's had 3 complete games this year. His dad played at Florida for the Gators. And he throws this one intercepted. This time it's Vernon Mitchell. Mitchell down the sideline, and he will score. Touchdown. Or did he step out of bounds.
No, he stepped out of bounds, Charlie, just inside the 10-yard line. Once again, it was a huge play. And the reason why is that they're sitting back there in the cover one defense, and they're able to lay down in the zone. You see him right there. He jumps inside. It was a passing route to go to the receiver, number one, but he never turned around in time. And as you can see, Mr. Reeves just takes it in.
So within a minute, 2 interceptions by Florida A&M. Will they be able to capitalize again?
Vernon Mitchell just simply was out there as if he was playing center field on baseball, and he was able to turn around and make the move in time.
First and goal at the 9 of Appalachian State. Florida A&M has the ball, leading 12-0. Sider takes it straight up the middle, and Sider is stopped shy of the 5-yard line at about the 8.
No, Sider is no joke at a quarterback. This kid is huge, 6'2", 235 pounds. I saw him before the game. He said, Ronnie, I hear you talking about me, man. He says, I'm not going to make any mistakes. You know what? A lot has been said about these two teams, and FAMU was pretty upset because they felt like they were not getting the proper respect from the Mountaineers. As a matter of fact, there were a lot of kids on the Mountaineers saying, FAMU who? What's a Rattler? You'll find out what a Rattler is right now. A Rattler gets into the end zone, and that's Sider for the touchdown. And at 235, Charlie, he's hard to bring down.
7-yard run for Jawan Sider, his 11th rushing touchdown this year. So he's thrown 2 touchdown passes today. He's just running in for another one.
You know what? He comes in your house, Charlie, and you talked with me about it before the game. You said, Ronnie, sure, he's got over 2,000 yards, but it's what he does running with the football, showing his versatility. A lot of people are going to take a good look at this young man. Sure, he wraps his ribs up, but I'm telling you what, he's all a bag of chips full of grits.
Edwards for the point after, and the first point after is converted for the Rattlers, and they are up right now 19-0 with 7:53 remaining here in the second quarter. Jawan Sider has put them in good position. So 2 different quarterbacks have set up points. That is for Jeremiah threw an interception. It resulted in a touchdown, and so did his relief man David Reeves came in through an interception, and Florida A&M able to capitalize on 2 of 3 interceptions that they've had today.
Once again, you got to give credit to Vernon Mitchell with the last interception. Richard Brooks, the interception before that. And FAMU has turned those mistakes into positive yards and 2 touchdowns.
Brings it out to the 22-yard line. And let's look at the touchdown run by Jawan Sider right now. He just takes off. Gets a good cross block or trap block there. And he takes it in with ease. Dwayne Carey with the good pulling trap block to get it into the end zone.
You know, Dwayne Carey coming from the left guard position, that was an excellent play, number 62. And when you saw it in slow motion, you saw where he left his position, came over. The hole was already open. He wanted to make sure it was contained, Charlie, and that was a great play.
The scoring drive is a 2-play, 9-yard deal. 8 seconds off the clock and a 7-yard run by Sider.
It's only taken them 21 seconds to score their last 2 touchdowns of this game. I'm talking about the Rattlers of FAMU. The last series, 13 seconds, this 8. There you have 21.
A minute and 34 seconds separated the 2 times that they got into the end zone. So they will start now way back. And this pass is complete to Albee along the sideline, and Albee is run out of bounds by Corey Johnson.
They haven't done anything offensively to disturb the flow of the defense for the Rattlers of FAMU. And this is somewhat disappointing when you consider ASU and the Mountaineers. Sure, they can score a lot of points, but look at this. See, you don't have to stop the progress, but you have to contain it. And that's exactly what the Rattlers did there.
It'll be second down and 8 after a gain of 2. Reeves again is in there at quarterback. Reeves back to pass. So on second down, looks like he wants to set up a screen, but he has it complete. Has a first down across the 25 to the 27-yard line. And on the reception was Dixon. Wilcox, rather. Daniel Wilcox on the reception. And it's Darnell Vickers who's the man who ran him out of bounds, but not before first down for the Mountaineers. There's David Reeves out of Valrico, Florida. 6 foot, 200-pound junior. 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in today's game. Jeremiah had thrown 6 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. Each has thrown 1 in this one. And this one is complete to the tight end, Scott Murphy, out of Pisgah, North Carolina. His third reception of the year. Wendell Ashley there defensively for the Rattlers.
Tight end in the offense, that's a huge play to make, because that means your tight end not only is a guy who can go down and down block, but he's a guy who can also catch the ball. And number 84, as you can see, Mr. Murphy is a huge fella. Murphy, 6'3", 240 pounds. That's a lot of man.
Appalachian State really needs to put together a pretty good drive here. They're down 19-0. Very seldom do they find themselves in this position, especially on their home field. This one batted in the air and almost intercepted, and Tyron Johnson almost got his hands on it.
The football has been batted down twice so far today in the first half by the Rattlers of FAMU, and Reeves has to say to himself, I had plenty of time to pass. I was able to see the field. I didn't have a lot of pressure, but here comes that athleticism of the FAMU Rattlers.
And it'll bring up a 3rd and 3. The ball resting right at the 35-yard line. Their own 35.
Nice numbers for David Reeves, 970 yards, 6 touchdowns, but those 5 interceptions, that's what's hurt him so far this season from the starting job on a regular basis.
And they get a screen to Daniel Wilcox, and will go. He broke a couple tackles, and it's going to be goodbye. Mountaineers score. Reeves, 60 yards.
Wilcox never gave up. FAMU gave up. Weak tackling, and that's what caused that touchdown. You will see it one more time. Reeves goes to the pass, and he will find Wilcox. He turns around the pirouette. Now, see, he should be stopped right here. But he isn't. He should be stopped right there, but he isn't. And he never gave up. Nothing but the lane. Who you going to blame on?
Reeves' longest pass completion this year was 63 yards. That's his second longest, and the longest for Wilcox, whose previous long reception was 45. And Wilcox, as you said, did not give up. They changed around the meaning of run after catch.
Oh, they definitely did.
It used to belong to Florida A&M. Now it belongs to the Appalachian State Mountaineer.
They gave Florida A&M a brief of their own medicine, a taste of it, as you will say. And, of course, Daniel Wilcox comes through big, 65 yards in the touchdown. That's what happens in a situation where you say never give up. I'm sure right now Coach is discussing it, and he's telling them right now on special teams, you saw what just happened there. Okay, this is what has to happen. We can never give up. You'll see it right here. Look at this.
Well, they got the sideline working for them, that is the Rattlers, but they didn't take advantage of it. They did not take advantage of it. I think a couple of players may have thought he got out of bounds, and they gave up. They cannot give up at any time, and their defensive coordinator, Clifton Moore, he's got them over, he's talking to them, and he's giving them a piece of his mind, I'm sure, right now.
I'm sure he's telling them that that turkey is digested in your stomach. Don't be the turkey on the football field, and let's make sure we come back from this huge mistake we've just made. 19-6 is the score.
I believe the Mountaineers are going to go for 2. Reeves stays in there. They are. Zach is the lone setback. He works from the shotgun. Slade is the man in motion on the shotgun. Reeves rolls out, throws, knocked away. So the 2-point conversion fails as Vernon Mitchell got his hands on it.
Vernon Mitchell, a very active player. Anytime the ball is in the end zone, a near receiver, you can count on Vernon Mitchell being right there, number 31. He plays the left cornerback position, but what I love about this kid is that he is so active. He's flying all over the place. Keep your eye on number 31, Vernon Mitchell, breaking up a sure enough play. Then you've got the Stings and the best team in the MEAC. The overall team, 10-1. They lost to Elon, but 8-0 in the conference. North Carolina A&T. Florida A&M, 7-1 in the conference, 8-3. And Hampton goes to the Heritage Bowl December 18th, taking on whatever school is representing the SWAC. And what a much improved Delaware State team. 4-4 overall, 4-7 during the season. However, they were very strong. But of course, when you talk about disappointments, it could have been Bethune-Cookman, who finished the season 7-4, all 4 losses coming in the conference, and that tells you how good the conference was this season. There's our Greyhound scoring drive, 5 plays, 88 yards, just took 1 minute and 11 seconds, a 65-yard rushing touchdown, and you see it right there, Mr. Wilcox, and it was sweet.
Speaking of Delaware State, they fired their head coach earlier this week, John McKenzie, even after it seemed like that program was being turned around. But
Who knows why things happen? Ours is not the question. From a yard deep into the own end zone, Florida A&M tries to come out with it, and a great defensive stop on the return made by Steve Kitchens as Travian Turner is the man bringing it out for the Rattlers of Florida A&M.
Steve Kitchens bringing the heat from the kitchen, and boom, boom, he shook the room, baby. And all of a sudden, you can hear the crowd here at ASU. Yeah, there's some folks up here in these mountains, and they're starting to make some noise for their Mountaineers.
On the 15. This one is complete to Bendros, and Bendros is out to the 24. A gain of 6. Wesleyan Hunter on the stop defensively. 2nd down and 4 for the Rattlers.
Once again, when you talk about guys coming into play, that was the man who just caught the ball. Jacquay Nutley is back in the game. Nutley didn't start. You didn't even see him in the first series of plays, but he's huge. 775 yards and 7 touchdowns. They say he's missed a big time for the Rattlers. But the Rattlers are wrapped up there, and it is nothing but pressure on the quarterback, and it comes from Jimmy Friedman.
5:43, the time remaining in the 2nd quarter. Sider under pressure. And here's Freeman coming around from the backside to sack him. 3rd and long. 3rd and 12.
You got to believe they're coming from Mr. Sider.
They back off after they show blitz immediately. And here's a catch by Bendros, and Bendros is knocked out of bounds by Chuck Payne in front of the FAMU bench to bring up a 4th down punting situation. And the crowd is getting into it here at Kidd Brewer Stadium, a place where they don't lose too often. That is, the Mountaineers have won 11 straight games here at home, dating back to last season. They won 6 here at home last year, 5 this season. The last time they lost a regular season game was the 1997 season. Skinner is the deep man to receive the punt. High kick. Skinner at the 30-yard line. Shakes one tackler. Still on his feet, reverses his field. Still down and finally brought down at the 40-yard line. Corey Johnson down there on special teams to make sure he didn't go too far.
Back off right here. I'm talking about the defense. They looked as if they're going to rush the passer. They back off just a little bit. They want to overlook things. You can see Sider goes back to pass, but then all of a sudden, see, anytime you can beat that corner, and then they pursue. Everybody's on the football, but anytime you can beat that end, you're in trouble. And you can beat the end, and the end comes around, and that's where it all starts. The defense pumping up the offense. Now the O has got to go.
On the draw play, Al call, and Albie gets a couple out to about the 42-43-yard line. Appalachian State came in, seeded number 4 among the 16 teams in the 1AA playoffs. Tennessee State from the Ohio Valley Conference is number 1. Georgia Southern out of the Southern Conference 2nd. Hofstra, the independent, was seeded 3rd, while Appalachian State 4th. Also from the Southern Conference, Furman seeded 7th. North Carolina A&T from the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference seeded 16th, while Florida A&M was the 13th seed out of the 16-team field. And this one is caught close to a 1st down. Darnell Vickers on top of Darrell Skinner, 4th in the conference in receptions per game.
Darrell Skinner, 2nd all-time leading receiver in the history of the Mountaineers. And watch him here. You know what I loved about that is that he shielded himself in the defense. So he's going to make that catch because there's no way you can defend it when you make a quick pitch and run like that.
3rd down and 1, 2 tight end offense again. Overman is in. Scott Murphy is in. And you know what they do when they put the 2 tight ends in there. They're probably going to put the ball on the floor. They've got a full house backfield behind the quarterback Reeves. Charles goes in motion. And a quick delayed handoff. They give it to Cornetzer, and he's tripped up by Corey Johnson, but he gets the 1st down into FAMU territory down to the 48-yard line.
Nice play call there, and Aaron Gray got an opportunity to jump on top of it, but he didn't. The rushing yards, you see it there. ASU 135, Florida A&M 71. It's true, and our pregame statement. One team loves to rush the ball, the other team loves to pass it. You show the other yards, and you will see FAMU is way ahead in the passing game.
So again from the shotgun now, Reeves is working. Now be the alone setback back there. Reeves steps up, throws it long, could be, but it's not intercepted. Slade was the intended receiver, but there were closer two white jerseys closer to the ball than there was the black jersey.
You know, we talked about that stat. Let me give you an indication. Right now, passing yards, FAMU has 131. ASU just 30 yards. As you can see right now, they're trying to pick up on that 30 yards. He himself separated almost, but anytime you've got the free safety helping out the corner, you got trouble in that interception.
Yeah, Gray, the free safety, was the man who came over, made sure it wasn't caught. Second leading tackler on the team and first team all MEAC this year. Aaron Gray. 1 second down. Again, Reeves under pressure. He had to get rid of it in a hurry because the blitz was coming from Jerron Daly, the linebacker on the right side or the defensive end. He put a lot of pressure on the quarterback Reeves, and Reeves was looking over the sideline saying, nobody picked up that guy. He said, I didn't have time to do anything.
That's right. He said nobody picked him up, and he was a little upset. He turned around, getting ready to make the play. He saw he had his man open. He says, oh, my goodness, here's that white jersey again. Where are these guys coming from? But you see what? Third down conversions, 3 for 9, 2 for 8. Let's see what happens. Third and 10. This is a huge one for the Mountaineers, and they want to make good on this. And Reeves has played extremely well since he's been in the game.
Reeves, with the one mistake, the interception, throws it deep. And this one is in and out of the hands of Aaron Gray.
Aaron Gray had that football, and Reeves did not have a good release. That football set up there, Charlie, and from our vantage point, it looked like it was wide. It was sitting up there all day long, and Reeves had an opportunity to do what? He had an opportunity to throw the football. He had time. And watch what happens here.
And I believe the Reeves, or Aaron Gray, was looking right into the sun here in Boone, North Carolina, up here in the mountains, and that's the reason he didn't bring it in, because it was right in his, would have been his 6th interception of the year. So a punting situation is forced upon the Mountaineers of Appalachian State. They'll punt it from the 48-yard line of Florida A&M. Only the 4th punt this afternoon for them. Fair catch called for and made at the 8-yard line, make it the 6-yard line for the Rattlers of Florida A&M by Kanan Lamb, make it the 12-yard line. So that's where they will go to work, first down and 10. That is the FAMU Rattlers. They'll have the ball. And of course, we'd like to welcome some of our stations that have joined us for this NCAA special Postone productions of MEAC football. And they keep the ball on the ground again. Here's Ken Williams, and he's like a bowling ball. He gets a first down out to the 24-yard line. So Ken Williams with the big run. Again, we'd like to welcome our stations that have joined us for this NCAA special. HTS, America One, Sunshine Network, Fox 49 in Tallahassee, and our newest member of the MEAC Television Network, Comcast Sports Southeast. For information on MEAC basketball on TV, you can log on to www.meacsports.com. First and 10. Sider back to pass. Stands in there. Plenty of room. Throws the fade pattern. And out of the hands. Almost caught on the near sideline by Robert Walton. Walton had a chance, but just couldn't pull it in. Robert Walton was out there. 2:31 the time remaining here in the first half. Here's Walton. You see Walton, and he's working against Kilby. And he has it in his hands. He just couldn't pull it in. So it'll bring up a second down and 10 yards to go. Sider on the keeper, turns the corner, and he barrels forward to about the 35 and picks up the first down. Wesleyan Hunter finally brought him down, but you see the strength of Jawan Sider at 6'2", 235 pounds. Here's a team number 1 in the conference in total offense, scoring offense, and pass offense, and 6th in the conference in run offense. While in the nation, they were 3rd in scoring offense, 6th in pass offense, and 11th in total offense in Division I AA. First and 10, Sider. Sider takes off again, following his blockers, and Sider able to pick up about 3 yards out to about the 38-yard line. Matt Halbert was there defensively out of Pope High in Marietta, Georgia. Here you see Jawan Sider. first team all-conference, offensive player of the year. He is 6-1 as a starter this year for the Rattlers. From the shotgun. And we get movement on the offensive side of the ball, so we're going to get a 5-yard penalty against Florida A&M. Penalties have not been that profound this afternoon. Only the 3rd penalty for Florida A&M. They've been penalized 3 times for 25 yards. Appalachian State 3 times for 20 yards. Let's see it. So it is 2nd down. We'll call it 2nd and 12. The ball spotted back shy of the 35-yard line at about the 33. Again, Sider working from the shotgun. Appalachian State blitzing. Sider sacked back inside the 20. And it is Remy Owalawa who came in with his 2nd sack of the afternoon. Now a timeout is being called by Appalachian State with 1:18 to go. They want one more chance at the football, as you see Owalawa coming in out of Ragsdale High in Greensboro, North Carolina. In high school, the redshirt sophomore was a 2-time conference player of the year. Also, he was quite a basketball player. He was a guard in basketball where he averaged 20.3 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. The 5'11" redshirt sophomore came into today's game with 5 interceptions. So he's a force to reckon with. We talked about Corey Hall, about the, and he's the youngster back there, Wallowa, along with Phil Day. Kilby also young. So there's some youth in that secondary, and they've done a fairly good job, especially with Chuck Payne and Corey Hall leading the way, tutoring them. Of course, Jerry Moore, the coach of the Appalachian State Mountaineers, has done a good job since coming over here in the month of November. He's recorded a record of 31-8. When trailing at half, though, this season, the Mountaineers are 2-2. They trail it right now, 19-6, but a big 3rd and 25 facing the Rattlers of Washington. Flag is down, or is that a chin strap? Sider is down at the 20-yard line. He played it safe. That was a chin strap that came. I think it was a penalty flag. Now, again, the Mountaineers use their 2nd timeout. So they're going to get the ball back with just about a minute to go in the first half. They want another opportunity to get close to maybe put 6 on the board, especially if they get a play similar to what they had the last time they had the ball, and they can get it to Daniel Wilcox, who can outleg everybody into the end zone. As you look at Sider trying to keep it safe, make it safe. And I believe maybe that Appalachian State has used all of its timeouts. Florida A&M has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. 19-6 is our score. 1 minute and 8 seconds is the time remaining. Skinner is the deep man to receive the punt. And this team, the Appalachian State Mountaineers, have done a pretty good job in the special teams department. This young man, Skinner, is 3rd in the conference in punt returns. He averaged 12.6 yards per punt return. As you look at Matt Carlton, he's back to do the punting for Florida A&M. They're coming after the ball, and he gets it away. Skinner almost lost it at the 40-yard line. He managed to get it back. Troy Hart was right there on top of it. But disaster is saved for the Mountaineers as Skinner was able to fall on the football. With under a minute to go, 59.7 seconds to be exact. The Mountaineers with the football at their own 40. The last drive started at their own 40. They got to the FAMU 48, and they had to punt it away. From the shotgun, Reeves, quick pass. Skinner too high for him, and it goes off his hands. He still should have been able to bring it down. Reeves out of Valrico, Florida. This stadium, Kidd Brewer Stadium, seats 16,500. They've had as many as 25,000 in here. That was back in 1988 against the Furman team. They're 11-0 at home the last 2 years, 42-12 here in the decade of the 90s, and since 1962, 143-55-5. Reeves back to pass, throws, and it's incomplete in the middle of the field, intending that pass. The Wendell Ashley covering. We've seen Jeremiah play wingback earlier this year, the quarterback. We've seen David Reeves play some wide receiver. He did that against Tennessee Chattanooga. So they're very, as they said, the two-headed monster, very versatile quarterbacks. Reeves back to pass again, under pressure, steps up, has some running room, still on his feet, cuts it back in, and he's finally brought down right at midfield by Cedric Boyd. Make that bird. Cedric on the stop defensively. With 41 seconds to go. They're going to measure for the first down. Looks like he should have enough to have picked up the first down. With all the receivers covered downfield, Reeves managed to step away from a possible sack and pick up very close to a first down. Let's see. Catch the chains, and they do have it. The Mountaineers picking up a first down, a big run by Reeves, and 41 seconds is the time remaining before halftime. And again, they're trying to at least possibly get into field goal position to allow Stuart Jones, who missed one earlier, a chance at a field goal. His longest this season is 37 yards. This one to Skinner. Skinner a yard, and that is it, because Cedric Bird was right there to make sure he didn't get loose. Clock continuing to run. Remember, Appalachian State has no more timeouts. 23 seconds. The time remaining. Under pressure, he just throws it away. We're going to get a flag. And the flag is downfield in the secondary. Let's see who this flag is on. An eligible man downfield against the Mountaineers. And this is a play, I would think, a penalty that the Rattlers would take. It doesn't matter, because you've got to look at the fact that there's only 15 seconds left in the half, and you want to get them as far away from the end zone as possible. Doesn't matter. Take the penalty. That would move them back a little further, even though they get the down over.
Ineligible man downfield against the offense. 5 yards to the previous spot. Second down.
And that's what the Rattlers did. With 15 seconds to go, they moved the ball back to the 45 of the Mountaineers. It's a 19-6 ball game here. Florida A&M was leading 19-0 before the Mountaineers came back. And again, Reeves under pressure loses the football. It's a fumble, and Jerron Daly possibly had it. Maybe, let's see. It was in his hands temporarily, but maybe the Mountaineers got it back. The official is saying fourth down. And it was Tyler Elkins who caused the fumble there. But it'll bring up a fourth down situation. But as the clock winds down, it looks like it's going to be the end of the first half here at Kidd Brewer Stadium on the campus of Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina. The officials are saying don't get the locker room yet. They're trying to sort it out. Whose ball is it? Let's listen to our referee, Ed Ardito.
Not recovered their own fumble. There's 4.4 seconds to go in the half, and Wright called a charge timeout.
So they're going to have to play at least one more play. Appalachian State did recover their own fumble, but Florida A&M called a timeout. So what we're hoping to do with this timeout is put enough pressure on the Mountaineer punter, Brian Riley, to try to possibly block a kick. and pick up some points before they go in the locker room. They put 4 seconds back on the clock. As you look at David Reeves, the Mountaineers of West Virginia started the season with a loss to Auburn, 22-15. They led in that game 12-7. In fact, they had more yards than Auburn did. Skinner had 9 receptions in the contest. They beat Eastern Kentucky 34-20. Razak had 163 yards and a pair of touchdowns. They beat the Citadel 51-0 with a total of 482 yards. They beat East Tennessee State 23-19 with 3 interceptions and a fumble recovery after trailing 9-0. They lost to Furman 35-21. They were held to just 170 total yards. Furman had 300 in that game. They beat Georgia Southern 17-16, beat Wofford 21-20, Tennessee Chattanooga 62-14, beat VMI 34-7, Western Carolina 34-10, and Liberty 28-12. So this 6-game winning streak that they have going for them is their longest since 1995. And it's on 4th down. They're not going to punt it. They're going to protect the ball and just fall down on it and let the clock run out. So now Florida A&M is arguing that possibly they should have had time when the man knelt down, but nobody put a rush on him. So they're going to go into the locker room, regardless of the argument, at halftime, 19-0. Make that 19-6. Florida A&M leading Appalachian State. And the Appalachian State Mountaineers will go in with their coach, Jerry Moore, who's in his 18th year, and try to figure out this defense and how to get around the defense of Florida A&M. This 18th year overall, his 11th year at Appalachian State. And talking about Jerry Moore, he's down on the sideline with our Ronnie Duncan. Ronnie.
All right, we're here right now with Coach Jerry Moore. And, Coach, let's face it, you wanted to stop the pass. You weren't able to do it effectively, but toward the end you were. And obviously, you took Jeremiah out, and now you've got Reeves in.
Well, I think one of the things that hurt early was our mistakes on offense. We gave them great field position on the last 2 touchdowns, and they made a great drive for the first one and did just all the things that they do. They're a very efficient and very sharp offensive football team. And then on offense for us, I think our defense is playing well enough that you can be in the ball game if your offense is moving the ball. We're just not doing a very good job with our offense right now.
What do you tell your team right now at halftime? Let's face it, obviously you come back with the last score of this half. There was some momentum, but obviously you made some mistakes toward the end.
Well, I think that's the big thing is the mistakes that we're making offensively. Again, I think defensively we're playing good enough to be in the ball game. We just got to get things together on offense.
All right, once again, Coach Jerry Moore, we thank you very much. One thing we do know, you haven't lost here at home, and you haven't lost here in 2 years. You might keep it up.
Well, thank you.
Good enough. That was, of course, Jerry Moore. We'll have more of the MEAC Game of the Week. Back up to you, Charlie.
19-6, our halftime score. The right. Yards rushing. Appalachian State has the advantage there, 107-85. But FAMU has a 100-yard advantage in the passing department. So overall, 215 yards to 158 for the Mountaineers of Appalachian State. And we'll be back with more of our halftime activities from Boone, North Carolina in just a moment.
Once again, we're here with Coach Billy Joe. You got to be happy in the first half, but the one thing I'm sure you're concerned with, that corner blitz and that safety blitz coming, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Juwan's side.
Yes, in the first quarter, they were putting a lot of heat on us, dogging, blitzing, stunning, dealing, just putting a lot of pressure on us. We got out of it a couple of times, and a few times they caught us and threw us for a loss. But we'll just have to discipline ourselves and know how to handle it when it comes again.
One thing you've been able to do is have a lot of success with the pass, but we haven't seen a lot of Jacquay Nunley. Are we going to see more of him in the second half of this football game?
Well, if the Mountaineers allow us to throw it to him, we'll do that. But if they continue to double and triple cover him, he'll just have to be a decoy for today.
Coach, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
Sure enough,
Coach
Ronnie.
Billy Joe, back to you, Charlie.
All right, thank you very much, Ronnie. Billy Joe has talked to his team, and he knows the job ahead of them as they get ready for the second half, and they lead in this ball game 19-6 again. Sider with a 15-yard pass to Lamb made it 6-0. Sider's 26-yard pass to Lamb 12-0 because both extra points are missed. Juwan Sider with the 7-yard run made it 19-0 as the PAT was made, and then Reeves threw a little lateral pass. They call it a lateral to Wilcox, and he ran it 65 yards in for the touchdown. They tried for the two-point conversion. That failed, and we stand at 19-6 at halftime. As you look at Jeremy Edwards, who will be kicking off for the Florida A&M Rattlers as they start the second half of this contest. 1AA playoff. All the games in progress in terms of 1AA. Mass and Furman tied at 7-0 in the first quarter. Georgia Southern from the Southern Conference also playing today. They are leading Northern Arizona. 5:09 left in the first quarter. And in the independent game, Hofstra leading Lehigh 17-13. Hofstra and Independent. Of course, Lehigh from the 10.
You know, the first 3 minutes of the second half is going to tell a lot what's going to happen with FAMU as far as this game is concerned. And I really believe that. You talk to a lot of old-time football coaches, they will tell you the first 3 to 4 minutes of a second half will tell you whether or not adjustments have been made at halftime, whether or not the offense will continue to roll.
Skinner from the 5-6 yard line trying to get around the corner, knocked out at about the 25-yard line. And he's knocked out by Greg Ray, and that's where Appalachian State will start the second half at their own 25, trailing by 13 points in this contest. They have not been out of it. They've had a couple of mistakes that Florida A&M was able to capitalize on. A pair of interceptions. Brooks set up one, Mitchell with the other, that they turned into touchdown.
But for the most time, the defense of FAMU have stepped up to the occasion. And what I'm saying is that when you look at Albee and Razak, they only have 27 and 22 yards. That is combined for just 49 yards together. That's not a lot of rushing yards from two of your premier backs.
Reeves rolls right, and he overthrows the receiver, Wilcox, who was wide open. Aaron Gray defending downfield. It looked like it was going to be a sweep to the left as both the guard and the tackle pulled to the left side, and then Reeves reversed himself, and watch the guards. See the guard and the tackle pull?
Most definitely. It's a play-action play, Charlie, and what you have here is that Coach Moore is doing this. He says, you know what, if you've been testing my DBs all day, let me see what I can do against your DBs. And all of a sudden, you see Reeves putting the ball in the air. He has had limited success throwing the football in this game. However, once he gets the perfect timing with his receivers, it's a whole new ball game.
And he throws it again. This one coming to one of the backs coming out the backfield, and who stays on his feet, that's Kornatzer. And he's finally brought down by Wendell Ashley, but the gain is up to the 30-yard line. He's still shy of about 5 yards of a first down. Make it 6, 3rd and 6.
Dropping back the pass. It's a good effort, but the thing about it is that when Darnell Vickers has an opportunity to stick a player, he needs to finish the job.
One of the things that Florida A&M has done a very good job on this year is taking the ball away from the opposition. 17 fumble recovery, 17 interceptions coming into today's game. 2 interceptions today. Behind and almost intercepted by the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Wilcox couldn't handle it, and it bounced in and out of the hands of Aaron Gray, and it'll be a 4th down punting situation for the Mountaineers.
They may be putting a little test, and you can see that the right hand is heavily bandaged up. I don't know if he broke it or whether it sprang, but you talk about still play even with one good hand. That's Aaron Gray. Aaron Gray had the interception in his hand. It is obvious to me if the injury wasn't to the right hand, possibility he could have had an INT.
But give Wilcox credit for not allowing him to hold on to the football, as this is another great punt by Riley, who drives Kanan Lamb all the way back to the 15. Lamb trying to turn the corner and finally steps out of bounds at the 27. And he's run out of bounds by John Overman, the tight end. We'll be back. It'll be FAMU ball. Charlie Neal and Ronnie Duncan here at Kidd Brewer Stadium on the campus of Appalachian State. And a little work being done to the equipment here as the Rattlers of Florida A&M take a 19-6 lead here, their first possession of the second half. They have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 27. Sider from the shotgun on 1st down. Has a little pop pass out in the flat. Not much running room for Demetrius Bendros, though, after the reception, as Remy Anho. And now we'll open. I know it's going to mess his name up before the game is over. Anawolo runs him out of bounds.
Alawolo. You know what? I'm glad you do play-by-play and I do color, because all I got to do is wait for you to do it right, and I can just go ahead and say, Alawolo. Didn't you know that? Alawolo.
And I know his name. I've said it right all game long, and for some reason or other, The brain didn't work that time. Anyway, here's a pass, and it's across the middle, and it is complete to Robert Walton. Jermaine Kilby there to make the stop, and it's a first down for the Rattlers of Florida A&M.
Great reception by number 19, Robert Walton. Watch him here. Gets off the line and separates himself from the defender. Sees the softest part of that zone, and that's a nice reception. Shielding himself from the defender as well.
First down and 10. Sider throws out in the flat. Kanan Lamb has it across the 45 to the 46. Awolowo is on there for the stop. I'm going to get it before the second half is over. Meanwhile, Dennis Thomas, who's the athletic director at Hampton University, but also among the 1AA and on the 1AA football committee, joins us here in the booth. And Dennis, good to see you here in Boone, North Carolina.
Thanks very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now let's get this play out of the way. We'll talk to you a little bit about your involvement as Kenny Williams gets the call and gets back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe loses a half a yard. Nothing doing as Matt Halbert was there defending on the play. Let's talk about how hard it is from a committee standpoint of view to choose the 16 teams, because anytime you're committee choosing any teams for any playoffs, somebody's not going to be happy.
Yes, it is, Charlie. It was a very difficult task because we had a lot of teams that were on the bubble, but were good teams, and we really had to scrutinize the schedules and one-loss record to determine who should be in.
Sider to Lamb. Lamb out of bounds at about the midfield stripe. But it's going to be short as Corey Hall was there to make the stop. Now your team, the Hampton Pirates, are going to the Heritage Bowl. People are not really on the bubble, but they're going to the Heritage Bowl anyhow, so the MEAC is sending 3 teams to the postseason.
I think that's outstanding. We will look forward to going to the Heritage Bowl in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Georgia.
3rd down and 1. That game, November 18th, they'll play the SWAC champs. That is yet to be determined who that will be. Sider trying to get to the first down marker. And let's see if he, well, that was first down. Correction. That was a first down play as Hunter came up to make the stop. It'll be second. He gained a yard. 2nd down and 9.
Dennis, you've got to be proud of the MEAC having 2 teams in this field of 16 for the 2nd year in a row. But it goes back to the mandate of the commissioner, Charles Harris, where he doesn't want MEAC schools playing schools in lesser divisions because it hurts their chances in the postseason, correct?
No question about it. Strength of schedule is one of the criteria we use to determine the selection process of a team being in the playoffs. So if you are playing a non-Division I opponent, it hurts you.
You know what? You're a former football coach down there, of course, with the Bulldogs, South Carolina State. You know what? When you see a guy like Mr. Bendros get the reception and then he does all that running and dancing afterwards, that's hard to defend, isn't it, Coach?
Yes.
He broke about 4 ankles on that play of the defenders, because one of the things is that one of the defenders for Appalachian State went after the interception. He missed the ball. After he missed it, there was an open field for Demetrius Bendros. We're in the 3rd quarter. FAMU is driving. Here's Jawan Sider. Sider inside the 3rd down to about the 27-yard line. Jawan Sider, Justin Severns on the stop out of Cartersville, Georgia.
Now, you know who's going to win that battle between Justin Severns and Jawan Sider. Jawan Sider's 235. Justin Severns, he's just over 200. Jawan Sider's a big load. He's a big old fella, and he ain't going to back that thing up. He's just going to back you right on down. Watch him here. The quarterback gets right out in the open field, and you see that. You know what? That's a man for a quarterback because he threw his shoulder right at the defender. Got to love the kid.
On 2nd down, Sider throws across the middle, and it's a first down for the Rattlers of Florida A&M, but Kanan Lamb has the reception. More importantly, Chuck Payne was there to bring him down. Wouldn't let him do any further damage. How do you look at what's going to happen down the road in terms of your team against the SWAC opponent, and then what's happening as far as Florida A&M today? And A&T will wait till after this play for that comment. I'll let you think about it. A&T against Tennessee State. First down and 10. Sider, little out pass. Demetrius Bendros to lose 1 man, and he's knocked out at about the 5-yard line. And it'll be 1st and goal. Remy Awolowo on the stop.
So we're excited about playing in the Heritage Bowl, and whoever the champion is, we look forward to playing it, and we look forward to winning the ball game. And I think it's tremendous that Florida is having a good game here today. And I just very pleased because a lot of people were questioning that decision with Florida being able to get in.
Well, they are showing so far that they deserve to be here. And we'd like to thank you, Dennis, for the job you've done. And we'll see you down the road.
All right, Charlie, you guys have a good broadcast.
All right. And here's Sider in from 6 yards out with his second rushing touchdown today. The earlier one was from 7 yards out. This one goes in from 6, and they complete a 73-yard drive. Their first possession of the second half, they take it all the way down.
What did I tell you about the first 3 minutes of a football game in the second half? You talk about making adjustments. If anything, FAMU made even more adjustments, and Sider is getting more time to do what? Pass the football, run with the football, and their receivers are simply breaking down the defensive secondary of the ASU Mountaineers.
And they're going for the 2-point conversion, and it's in and out of the hands. And there's a flag down, and the intended receiver was Robert Walton. Kilby was the man who will probably be called for the pass interference. So they'll try it once again. The 2-point conversion. They're trying to get some distance here. That would make it a 27-6 ball game, a 21.3 touchdown advantage should they convert.
Defensive pass interference. After distance to the goal, we flag it down.
As you can see right here, Sider is able to find Robert Walton. Looks like a pretty good call. I mean, from my vantage point, it looks like a pretty good call. Some people may call it an iffy call, but for FAMU, he looked real good.
And here's a little pitch outside. Ken Williams goes in unmolested, and they get the 2-point conversion, and it's 27-6. And we get another penalty flag. And it's unsportsmanlike conduct, and it's going to be against FAMU. It'll be enforced on the kickoff. But Kenny Williams brings it in for the 2-point conversion. Sider from 7 yards out.
Kids, join the fight because we're in it to win.
We're back once again here in Boone, North Carolina at App State, as is the Florida A&M Rattlers leading the App State Mountaineers 27-6. And we're in the third quarter. You just missed it. Jawan Sider, easy touchdown, 2-point conversion by Ken Williams. Ronnie Duncan along with Charlie Neal. We're about to get started once again, and Charlie, take it away.
Jeremy Edwards has the ball on the tee, and he's ready to kick it off. Skinner is the man that's deep to receive this kickoff as we have 10:34 left in the third quarter. Skinner from the 13-yard line. Skinner trying to go down the sideline, breaks to the outside, and is finally bounced out of bounds just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line by Lorenzo Johnson.
Lorenzo Johnson, he was the last man to possibly stop him, because if you don't stop him, there's a possibility you see that young man going right into the end zone. Now comes an opportunity to look at some scores, and as you can see, look at that, UMass losing the first 14-10. Then you've got Georgia Southern 21-7 over Northern Arizona up in Flagstaff, Arizona. Illinois State leading Colgate 21-0, and 17-13 Hofstra over Lehigh in the third.
Two Southern Conference teams winning, one losing, and that one is in this game as we get Jeremiah is back in the lineup at quarterback, and they wrap him up after he gets about 5 yards, 6 on the game. Corey Johnson.
See, the great thing about the MEAC is that FAMU has seen it all. When you talk about the option, all you got to do is go down to Bethune-Cookman and look at the Wyatt Bone and Patrell Troutman, and they've seen a young man who runs it perhaps better than anyone else. So they know, especially the linebackers as well as the ends, how to make the shift and deal with the containment and not over-pursue to make sure that they can stop the positive yards from being gained. Then when you talk about pounding the ball down, no one does it better than North Carolina A&T. The one thing A&T was able to do last week is that they blitz. And Coach Hayes says, hey, I can either win it or lose it.
Jeremiah still has the ball, throws it, has it complete, and it's Wilcox. He's been a load when he's got the ball in his hands. Vernon Mitchell, the first white jersey there to meet him, but not before the first down is gained down to about the 36-yard line.
You know, Charlie, so much has been said about the offense of the Rattlers, then what about their defense?
And their defense
is not shabby. We're talking about in the third quarter of this game, and only 6 points have been put on the board for the Mountaineers.
And that man, Mr. Wilcox, was responsible with that, with a great run, making tackles along the way, and went for 65 yards. And it is first down and 10 Mountaineers. They're at the 36-yard line of Florida A&M, trailing by 21. Here's Jeremiah. And Jeremiah, they just got an ankle. He was off to the races. He had gotten down inside the 30 to about the 32-yard line. Aaron Gray just managed to get an ankle, and that's what saved a possible even bigger gain.
Daniel Jeremiah, I talked about him at the beginning of the game. He is 10-1 as the starter. He has been flip-flopping with, of course, David Reeves. They called them the two-headed monster here for the Mountaineers. And you know what's happening? Jeremiah was able to sit on the sidelines and recognize what he was doing wrong. That's why he looks so confident in this game right now. He wants to maintain that position as the #1 quarterback for the Mountaineers.
Razor on the carry, first down inside the 20 to the 19. Aaron Gray has been busy on the defensive side of the football. You know, here's a team that is the Mountaineers have been sacked only 6 times coming into today's game this year, which is a credit to the offensive line, who's done a good job of opening up those holes compared to 15 times that they were sacked all of last year. I mean, they gained, coming into the game, 2,700 yards as a team rushing. That's an average of 248 yards a game on the ground. Wilcox is the man in motion. The handoff to Razak, and Razak hit at the line of scrimmage, lost the yard, and it was Corey Johnson, the first man to meet him out of Killian High in Miami, and Terrence Woodard also there from Maynard Evans High in Orlando. There you're looking at Corey Johnson.
Watch here. You'll see number 75 said, hey, look, fella, you better back that thing on up. And it's a loss. You know, when you talk about time of possession, 18:53 for FAMU. But, Charlie, 18:53, I guarantee you about 14 minutes of that has been with the defense staying on the field because the offense has been on fast, gotten its job done, and gotten off. Defense could be getting tired.
And here's the quarterback trying to go around the corner. That is Jeremiah Richard Brooks, who has an interception that set up the first FAMU touchdown and bounced him out of bounds. Here's Jeremiah trying to turn the corner. Here's Brooks with his shoulder to shoulder. Mano to mano.
Got an opportunity to drive the man out of bounds and do exactly that. And that's exactly what number 28 did, Mr. Brooks.
And FAMU uses one of its 3 second-half timeouts. And they lead it. We'll be back. (27-6) is our score. The winner of this particular contest plays the winner of the Florida State James Madison game. And the other game of interest in the MEAC right now is down in Nashville, Tennessee, where the Tennessee State Tigers leading the Aggies 3-0. Pass, and it's caught, but for a loss, as Anthony Cola was there right on top of the reception. Darby. So it'll bring up a 4th down, and that'll bring on the field goal kicker, Stuart Jones. He's missed a field goal here today. He missed a 35-yarder early on in the contest. His longest of the year was 37. 12 of 22 career. This one will be a 40-yard field goal attempt. 41 yards to be exact. It would equal his longest of the season. It is up, and it is good. So Stuart Jones splits the uprights, puts 3 on the board for the Mountaineers with his longest field goal of the year, a 41-yarder. And that cuts the deficit to 21-9. 27-9 make it. And this comes in the 3rd quarter with 6:42 remaining. This drive started at their own 49-yard line. That is for the Mountaineers, and they have managed to get down to get a 41-yard field goal.
You know, when you look at it, Charlie, the one thing that FAMU has to be happy with is the simple fact that they didn't have to give up a touchdown. All they had to do was give up a field goal. And that's huge, especially in a game like this, a playoff game. You can talk about the records. You can be 9-2, you can be 8-3, but you're in the playoffs. And once you get in a position where you can win the football game, that's all that matters.
So each team has scored here in the second half. FAMU a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And Appalachian State with the 41-yard field goal, the longest of the season for Brian Riley. Or correction, Stuart Jones, rather. As you look at Stuart Jones, who has the ball on the tee, and he is kicking off. This one will go into the end zone, and it will not be run out. Travian Turner decides to down it, and FAMU will take over at their own 20.
Time of that scoring drive was just 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Not bad, a 65-yard kickoff. Wow.
So FAMU, who drove 73 yards the last time they had the ball, and scored on a 6-yard run by Sider. Starting again, Ken Williams gets the call. Ken Williams stumbles forward for 6 to the 26. Joe Best.
Ken Williams can be the key, because once you get the defense concentrating on the run and you start pounding that ball up the middle, you can start to spread that football field, and that's exactly something Juwan Sider likes to do, especially when you're going with 4 receivers, as you see the set there.
2nd and 4. Sider takes off running, and he is knocked down by one of his own men. Actually, he had to go from Jason Sowell, but he knocked one of the offensive linemen into Sider, and Sider falls down shy of a first down by a yard. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Charlie, the Mountaineers just have not been able to make the adjustments, and the reason why they're in the 4-3 defense, and that puts a lot of pressure on those linebackers.
Sider goes off the left side, and he should have enough for the first down as he crosses the 30. And it is a first down for the Rattlers.
You couldn't see it here, obviously, on that play, my point. But when you're in that 4-3, that's a lot of pressure on your linebackers to do what? Cover the pass, something that FAMU does extremely well. Sometimes they will use 5 receivers in one set. That's a lot of different options for a guy like Juwan Sider to go with.
And the big key is being able to read all of those things at one time. As they say, your eyes have to go every which way. Sider standing in there with time. Still on his feet. Gets away from one man. Still on his feet, and finally steps out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. A gain of 1. Phil was the man who last touched the quarterback, Sider.
Juwan Sider never panics under pressure. Even though you will see the defense all of a sudden collapse into the pocket, rolling out he will do. He will rush out of the pocket. You see, he's a strong quarterback, and it's going to take more than just one little move to knock him out of bounds.
Down. 2nd and 9. From the shotgun is where he operated most of the afternoon. Calls a lot of plays. The line of scrimmage changes things depending on the formation of the defense. Sider tries to go inside. The ball is down. The ball should have been down. They're going to call it a fumble. The ground shouldn't have caused that. I think got a bad spot on that one, but let's see. Harold Williams. Sider was actually down. The ball came out. Let's see if we can see it. Not from this angle. See, the ball's coming out there.
But you can never take it for granted, Charlie. And the one thing about it is that when you play alert football, good things will happen. And the big fella falls on the big ball. I'm talking about Harold Williams. Turnovers, that's all deadlock 2-2. But the score isn't 27-9. FAMU with the lead. 5:12 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Here's the option. Rizak turns the corner, and he has enough yards for a first down for the Mountaineers, down to the 22-yard line.
Harold Williams came up, of course, with that fumble recovery, and we're looking at it right here. This is when you have to capitalize, and now they're going to the option. As you will see, Kareem Razak. Watch him, number 13, diving over people, finally brought down. You see it there. It was all about Vernon Mitchell.
So the Mountaineers with a golden opportunity to close the gap even further. And if they can take advantage of the FAMU turnover, Jeremiah on the option keeps it, tries to cut it back inside, and it was Tyron Johnson who had the ankles of the quarterback, Jeremiah.
Never left this lane, and that's what you have to do in covering the option. And he was able to, of course, cause some confusion. So when Johnson wraps him up, I'm talking Jeremiah, number 17, and number 97 wraps him up. that's a good thing.
Second down after a gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Isaac is the lone setback behind the quarterback. On the wing is Garnitzer. Back to pass. Jeremiah throws it out of the backfield. And it's Garnitzer on the reception, and he's finally brought down by Wendell Ashley, but not before he gets down to the 12-yard line on another first down or close to it. It is a first down. 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers.
That was an easy play to read the entire time. All you got to do is drop out of that pocket, turn around, and the ball will be right there. It's a first down, and the Mountaineers are looking good. And the reason why, they have capitalized on the mistakes of the Rattlers.
4 minutes left, third quarter. Our score right now is 27-9. Rattlers out in front. But the Mountaineers, who just recovered a fumble by Jawan Sider, threatening. Trying to cap this 33-yard drive. Here's Jeremiah cutting it back at the 5. He has the first down. Well, that was a first down play. He gains about 3 or 4. Make it 5, and Aaron Gray.
What a difference a half makes for number 17. Jeremiah taken out of the game for Reeves, but this time, see, there's over pursuit on the defense, and when you over pursue on the option, you can hurt yourself, and he almost made it into the end zone. Strong kid, and he's got a lot of desire. I told you before, he is 10-1 as a starter, 11 games. He's trying to make it 11-1 and 12.
Razak hit at the line of scrimmage. Tyron Johnson, the first man to hit him. He also had some help in there from Terrence Woodard.
Richard Brooks showing a little attitude. Watch him here. He'll come straight up the gut from his safety position. He doesn't care. Get your behind down there is what he's saying. I'm a bad man, and no one's going to get into my end zone. I'm going to tell you right now, the Mountaineers, they've got the ball inside the 5, and all they have to do is march it 4 yards, and they will finally get that end zone once again.
And it's 3rd and 3 from the 4. Big third down play for both teams. Play action. Thrown in the end zone. Touchdown. Wilcox on the pass from Jeremiah.
Daniel Wilcox was all alone, and Jeremiah rolling out. Yes, it was a sweet play, and that's all they needed. You know, you're talking about a team that has not lost a game in this facility in 2 years. Then you're talking about the Mountaineers, a squad that can do what? March its way all the way to the semifinals before they actually play a game on the road. See, they love the simple fact they've got the home field advantage, at least 2 out of 4 games to a possible championship date for the NCAA Division I AA championships.
So they're going to go for the point after. And again, it's the man who gave them the 41-yard field goal. Stuart Jones kicks it. It's up. And this one is no good. So they've had trouble, both teams, with the kicking game today, especially on things that normally are automatic or not. So it's now 27-15.
Here's our touchdown once again. You'll see him rolling out. I'm talking Daniel Jeremiah, and he finds another guy with the name of Daniel. I'm talking about Mr. Wilcox, and he made it look very easy. He says, show me love, fellas, show me love. And Mr. Jones is saying, I don't know what happened, Coach. I thought I kicked it. I thought it was okay. Son, if that comes back to haunt you, you're going to wish you had those extra points. That's why they call them extra points. 27-15. That's our score right now, Charlie. And I tell you what, FAMU has got to show everybody that their high-octane offense is still alive and ready to go.
3 turnovers in the ball game. Appalachian State's 2 turnovers by way of interception resulted in the 2 touchdowns for Florida A&M, and one of the 2 turnovers for Florida A&M. That is that second one, the fumble just a moment ago, resulted in a touchdown for Appalachian State. And the Greyhound scoring drive was a 6-play, 32-yard affair, consumed 2:46 off the clock, and it culminated in a 4-yard pass play from Jeremiah to Wilcox. Wilcox has accounted for all of the points for the Appalachian Mountaineers in terms of touchdowns today, plus the field goal by Jones. 27-15 is our score. A 12-point ball game. It was 19-0 Florida A&M. It was 19-6, 27-6. Now it's 27-15. Travian Turner at the 6-yard line. Travian Turner back out across the 25, and he's knocked down at about the 27. And it was Steve Kitchens who made the stop. So Travian Turner brings the ball out for Florida A&M. They'll have the ball for the 3rd time here in the second half. and they lead it by 12 points. Florida A&M was moving the ball pretty good the last time they had it, except the fact that they fumbled the ball. Nua will center it from the shotgun. Sider works. Sider throws out in the flat. Has it complete. Still on his feet is Cedric Mitchell. Mitchell first down across the 45 to the 46. Phil Crum, who got his ankle broken earlier in a game, got broken once again and had to catch Cedric Mitchell from behind.
Amen, Brother Ben. You will see it here. I'm talking Sider going to his receiver, Cedric Mitchell. See, Mitchell looks like he's contained. But you know what? A little wiggle, a little jiggle, a little dance for some more. He picked up 7 extra yards, and that's called never giving up.
Sider again throwing out in the flat. And this one is read by Wallowo. Walton was a man on the reception. Wallowo was there, though. He wasn't going to be full, but it's still a gain of about 4 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
See, Wallowo is about 5'8". You got Walton, who's 6'3". It's the big guy taking the little guy. And always the big guy is going to win. You know who they've quieted down today? Corey Hall. We haven't mentioned his name a lot today. He's a Buck Buchanan finalist.
Because they're not throwing deep. And he's playing for that deep pass from the safety spot. Here comes the blitz. Picked up pretty good. And Cedric Mitchell on the near side gets the reception, but only 1 yard gain before Kilby can come up to make the stop. One of the things I feel that Florida A&M is trying to do is set up the defense of the Mountaineers with these short passes, because they're going to give them that little give and go, that little out and the pump fake, and then somebody's going to long.
Absolutely. They want them to bite, and the moment they bite on it, it's long gone. See ya.
3rd down, 3rd and 4. Big 3rd down play. Here's Kanan Lamb. First down at the 30 of Mountaineers, and he's finally stopped by Corey Hall. He just got into the seam of the defense. Took it down for a first down with 48 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
Watch him here. Kanan Lamb, 2nd team all MEAC, gets within that nice soft spot and right through Hall. You see, Hall is a big-time player. I mean, Charlie, he brings the heat. But Kanan Lamb, man, he loves the heat. He said, bring it to me. Cross the middle. Take it to you long. I'll do the slant route. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it as long as I get into the end zone. There's nothing to it but to do it.
First down, here's Demetrius Bendros. Touchdown. 30 yards from Jawan Sider to Demetrius Bendros. He beats Kilby. Remember we said they were going to go for it.
I tell you what, not only did they go for it, Jermaine Kilby is saying to himself, something's burning up in here. What's happening, son? You've been toast. It's just that easy. Watch the play one more time. Bendros filling in for, of course, Jacquay Nunley, who has the bad ankle. Not a bad move, and look at him on the run. And you've got to give credit where credit is due. That was a perfect pass.
Jeremy Edwards on the point after, left-footed kicker. That was a 5-play, 72-yard drive, and the kick is up, and it is good. And we'll look at it once again, and it's 34-15.
Isolation, you will see him, Bendros. The nice little shake move to get him off the line of scrimmage. And once he gets that separation, Jawan Sider finds him, and it kicks on their side. Young man, you're in the highlights, and the FAMU fans are saying, rattle on, baby, rattle on. The Rattlers are coming in and taking notice. 34-15. Whose house is it? Seems like it's the Rattlers' house now.
And there you look at Demetrius Bendros.
You got to love that smile. Look at that smile on that kid's face. You know he's happy.
Senior out of Coral Gables High down in Miami. Came into the game with a 21.9 per catch yard average. And that's a lot of yards. He just caught a 30-yard at that time. That's his 7th receiving touchdown of the year, and it was set up by Kanan Lamb's big catch. Of course, Kanan Lamb came in as the 3rd all-time leading receiver in FAMU history with 186 career catches for over 2,500 yards and 30 touchdowns. He has 2 today.
Hey, the proof are in the numbers. And then you've got to talk about Jawan Sider. 25 rushes, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has been a part of every touchdown for FAMU today. Hey, there's a little young FAMU fan. You know what? Mom probably tell a little baby one day, say, guess what? You were there the year that FAMU came into the house of the Mountaineers and rocked it.
A Again, like I said earlier, the winner of this particular game, of course, FAMU, seeded number 13. They will play the winner of the Troy State-James Madison game. That will either be at Troy State or at James Madison next week. That is unless the Mountaineers come back and win it. If they win it, the game will be played here. 26 seconds of time remaining, third quarter. 34-15 is the score. Of course, FAMU used to putting up big numbers this year. They came into this game, you know, averaging.
Ask South Carolina State about a big number. Was it 76 points?
They averaged 45 points a game, 50 points a game doing against MEAC teams.
Did you think they would be this successful against a team such as the Mountaineers?
No,
you're talking about a team that played Auburn right down to the final wire. You're talking about a team that almost beat firm. You're talking about one of the better Division I AA teams in the nation. And what's happened is that it's showing the strength of conference in the MEAC. See, when you have a good conference and everybody's beating up on everybody else, and even though North Carolina A&T was undefeated throughout that conference, that tells you there's a lot of talent down there. America, you better wake up. You better get this package here as the MEAC game of the week.
6-yard gain on the play. It'll be second down and 4. And you talked about that Auburn team. They had more yards, almost 40 more yards than Auburn. In fact, led 12-7 at the halftime. And Skinner had a big game, 9 receptions for the Mountaineers, but they just couldn't put it off. Here's Reeves throwing long. Skinner's out there, almost intercepted in and out of the hands of Aaron Gray.
Aaron Gray is probably going to be saying to himself, not only did I have it, I may have been taken back down for a touchdown. Aaron doesn't want to see this. This is the one play Aaron does not want to see as a replay, Charlie. Look at this. I mean, as you can see, Reeves goes back to pass. The ball's wobbly up there. Aaron, see, they don't know anything about Fred Biletnikoff and Stickum, do they? Aaron needs some of that Stickum about right now.
No, Lester Hayes is who he doesn't know. Not Biletnikoff, it was Lester Hayes. Mr. Stickum, you couldn't walk by him unless the Stickum grabbed you. On the play action, Reeves throws, has it complete on the near sideline in front of the Appalachian State bench. And a host of white jerseys comes over, and it was led by Aaron Gray and Darnell Vickers. But it is a first down for the Mountaineers at the 31 as the third quarter comes to an end. As they start the fourth quarter here at Kidd Brewer Stadium, 34-15 the score. First and 10 though for the Mountaineers of Appalachian State. Reeves trying to run the ball, gains a yard to about the 33, maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Staying in the zone, making sure there's containment anytime the quarterback gets ready to roll out. FAMU has made some very good adjustments. Look at those third quarter stats, and you can see it in the rushing. ASU all over the place, 170. But once it came through passing, 264 turnovers. We're top 2, and look at the time of possession. My Nelly Goodfella is 22-19 and 22-41. It's an even game on possession, but it's a big game for FAMU, 34-15.
Reeves throwing deep. And it's short, intending it downfield.
Reeves is throwing deep, and the reason why that ball is still rolling like that, Reeves got hit. He found out what it's like to be a Rattler. You know, they were asking that question earlier during the week. What in the world is a Rattler? And one of the players on the team, as a matter of fact, I think it was Kareem Razak, said, all I know is they got beat by North Carolina A&T. Well, guess what? I know North Carolina A&T. And Mountaineers, you're no North Carolina A&T. Did you know the 6.7 points in the fourth quarter this year? That's their average. The Mountaineers, 6.7. They're going to need more than 6.7 this fourth quarter.
They've scored most of their points in the second and third quarters this year. This one batted away by Aaron Gray, intending it for Darrell Skinner, and to bring up a fourth down punting situation.
They've taken Darrell Skinner out of the game. And did you know that Florida A&M has only given up 6.5 points in the fourth quarter? So that means if they do score in the fourth quarter, it just won't be enough to beat the Rattlers.
In fact, the ironic thing about it is Florida A&M scored 2 times in the second quarter. They had only given up 24 points all year in the second quarter. That is Appalachian State.
It appears seriously that Florida A&M University is back on its A game. I think the embarrassment that they suffered at the hands of the A&T Aggies, and I don't want to say embarrassment to take anything away from A&T, they have learned from those mistakes, the 3 mistakes they made during the regular season.
From their own 20, the Florida A&M Rattlers would get the ball. They lead it by 19. We'll be back. We're in the 4th quarter here.
That's the best looking face I've seen all day.
That's the parabola mic operator here.
Hey, but you know what?
At Kidd Brewer Stadium. You know,
he walked up to me earlier today and told me he was a huge Cleveland Browns fan. He was so happy that I was coming in from Cleveland, Ohio. That's Charlie Neal's cousin?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Way to go, Charlie.
Right on. We talk about this stadium. Kidd Brewer is named after the former coach who coached here from 35 to 38, had a remarkable 35-3 record, and during that time recorded 26 shutouts. That's amazing. As the ball is kept on the ground, Ken Williams on the carry. He gains 4. Now Florida A&M is thinking about using up some clock as Awolowo makes the stop. Remy.
Just call him Remy, man. Remy Awolowo. Okay? Easy for me to say after you said it wrong.
Sider, pitch back here is maybe disaster. And Sider manages to fall on it.
Can't afford to have anything like that happen, especially in a football game like this and of this magnitude. Don't be misled by the score. The one thing the Mountaineers can do is score. Remember, I have said throughout this game, and I'll say it again, they are undefeated at home the last 2 years.
They've managed to score 67 points themselves in the 4th quarter. While giving up 55, FAMU has scored 98 points in the 4th quarter.
You know they're going to be bringing it now.
While giving up 65.
19, they're going to be bringing it.
Sider looks at his sideline, and he has it complete to Walton on the far sideline. Walton, it's not going to be enough for the first down. Kilby was right there to make sure he didn't get any further and to bring up a punting situation with 12:45 to go, a 19-point advantage, and they're going to have to punt it away. And this time they'll be punting from their own 16 or 17-yard line.
You know, a lot of times when you think of North Carolina, you think of Greensboro, you think of Charlotte, you think of Durham, being great cities. If you ever get a chance, this is perhaps one of the most scenic aspects in the country. Get yourself out to Boone, North Carolina, and here on the campus of ASU, and you will think you have died and gone to heaven. Such a beautiful spot.
There's a flag on the play. Not a good punt for the Rattlers of Florida A&M. But let's see what the penalty marker is about. It's probably the way either somebody left too soon or somebody was offsides for. Now they call illegal procedure against Florida A&M. I would probably decline that. Take the ball. We can't afford to have them have a tremendous punt.
Well, definitely, that's the mindset. You know, you talk about some of the great coaches and Kidd Brewer. Another good name that used to coach here.
Mac Brown.
Mac Brown.
Well, Mac Brown only coached 1 year here, believe it or not, and he still has a car dealership in town.
Put it this way, he coached 1 year, and his name must have been really huge because
and they didn't have a great year.
No, they didn't. You know, the thing about it is that when you look on this campus, I mean, there are a lot of good things. One guy that I didn't get a chance to see and covered when he was in college, being the understudy to Michael Jordan, and he's the basketball coach here. I'm talking Buzz Peterson. He's the basketball coach here, and I wish him nothing but the very best.
Reeves throws, has it complete to Wilcox. Wilcox battled down, but a first down inside the 40 to about the 3-yard line, and it was Wendell Ashley on the stop defensively for Florida A&M. How about Dexter Coakley?
Oh, Dexter Coakley, big 46-yard touchdown return this past Thanksgiving on Thursday for the Dallas Cowboys. Love them here. Look at that. Tennessee State leading North Carolina A&T 10-3 in the 2nd quarter, and you know Tennessee State's quarterback very much like Mr. Sider, who can put it up in the air and get some damage done.
Singleton, who has come on and replaced Murray, who's injured. Here's Reeves standing in, throwing wide open in the middle of Slade. He has the first down. He's still on his feet. Slade trying to get something going, and he won't go down. Finally is brought down at the 20-yard line, and bringing him down was Brian Mitchell. Corey Johnson also there to help out on the tackle, and Corey is shaken up.
Yeah, Corey shaking. But the one thing about this young man is that he never gave up. Rashad Slade, watch him here. See, he does the same thing the fan has been doing the entire day. Not letting anyone bring him down. He was not going to be denied. He wanted that end zone. He could smell it, and it was on his side. There he is, Mr. Slade, getting the job done out of Reidsville, North Carolina.
So we'll see if Corey Johnson, how he's doing. He's down on the field right now, and that would be a big loss if he's not able to come back. He's had a pretty good ball game for the Rattlers on the defensive side of the football.
Once again, the game is not over. Plenty of time left on the clock, 11:19 to be exact. And you're talking about a team that has not lost at home in the last 2 years. And it does mean something because, see, this is a feeling they are very unfamiliar with. You're talking about kids who have played on this team for the last 2 years. They don't know what it's like to lose at home. This is sacred ground. This is their house. And when you come into their house, they do not intend on you disrespecting them.
1st and 10 from the 20. Reeves is the quarterback. And he rolls left. Throws into the end zone. Wide open. Touchdown. Touchdown. Luke Manuel.
That was an excellent play by the quarterback. And what I loved about it is that he beat the corner and the safety. They were preoccupied with another receiver. Watch it here. It looks like he's throwing to nobody. But Luke Manuel finds it. Look at this pass. In the corner of the end zone all by himself. Somebody didn't pick up on the read. And when that happened, the safety in the corner were left by themselves, and the free safety was left all alone. Manuel with the touchdown, number 10. I told you, Charlie, it's not over yet. 10:59 left to go in the game.
And they're going for 2. Jeremiah takes it in, and he goes in. Jeremiah for the 2-point conversion. And they cut the lead to 11.
Well, they have
4-23.
I tell you what, that gun hasn't gone off by Mr. Big old Daniel Boone, and all of a sudden it has. 34-23. We'll come back with much more of the first.
And we still have a ball game here at Kidd Brewer Stadium in Boone, North Carolina, on the campus of Appalachian State. They keep coming back time and time again. You talk about the two-headed monster. They put the two-headed monster together on that particular drive. Reeves takes him down the field. Jeremiah puts in the 2-point conversion, and they're still in this ball game. They're only down by 11 points.
Charlie, I talked about that unfamiliar territory. They don't know what it's like to lose here at home. They haven't lost here at home in 2 years. And then when you talk about Jeremiah as a starter, 10-1, they want to get the job done. Blown coverage there. You have to go back to that play. Luke Manuel takes advantage of it. And anytime you can go ahead and beat the corner and the safety, have them preoccupied, that opens you up for some good things. And right now, they've got 8 points instead of just getting with the 7 and 6. They're taking advantage of the situation. And that was plenty of time left on the clock.
That was Luke Manuel's first touchdown of the season.
I tell you what, he couldn't take a more perfect time to get one.
1st down and 10, 10:54 to go for it. Rattlers of Florida A&M leading by 11. At the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 20. From the shotgun, Sider, quick drop, quick throw in the flat, and it's incomplete. It hits the ground.
Westland Hunter came across with the corner blitz, and Sider was able to get rid of the ball, but had to rush it, trying to get the Bendros. You'll see him here, number 11. Watch him here. See, he doesn't get guarded by anyone. He doesn't even get blocked by anyone. He had intentions of knocking Mr. Sider right out of the game.
Bendros couldn't bring the ball in. And there's the Greyhounds scoring drive, a 3-play, 42-yard affair, used 112, and it was a 20-yarder from Reeves to Luke Manuel. This is a 2nd down and 10. Sider. And he has it complete to Walton, but it's only a 2-yard gain. A lot of black jerseys around the ball, led by Justin Sanders.
Justin Sanders getting in there, and you know what? They're bringing on the heat. You see plenty of the black jerseys. You know what? FAMU is wearing the white jerseys. FAMU is 2-0 in the white jerseys this season. You see, Coach Billy Joe is very superstitious. He believes in all that kind of stuff. He says,
I know he does.
2-0. We're 2-0 in the white jerseys. That's the first time I've seen FAMU in the white jerseys. Right now, 34-3. Coach Billy Joe's looking pretty good.
From the shotgun on 3rd down and 8, play action. Sider is in there, has a little room, And now he's going to take off, but not enough. Only a 4-yard gain, make it 3. And Harold Williams brings him down, 4th down punting situation. 10 minutes to go.
He waited too late to decide to run with the football. Was trying to, of course, see if Bendros was going to get early and get open downfield. Watch him here. You'll see that Jawan Sider has nothing but real estate. He's got blockers and fouls. But you know what happens? He waits too late, and you can't wait on the Mountaineers because they will not wait for you.
9:40 remaining, the clock running, and the punting unit is on for both squads. Matt Carlton will punt it away for Florida A&M.
They have nothing to lose here. They're going to try to block this one.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. Florida A&M was trying to call a timeout. There's a penalty flag down because the clock was running out. There's a penalty flag down. Florida A&M saw the play clock running down, tried to call a timeout, was unable to do so. And that's what saved them. They were trying to call a timeout. The blocking back up in front of the punter tried to signal the official that he wanted a timeout. Before he could do so, the ball was snapped. The punter, not knowing the ball was going to be snapped, was standing there waiting for it. But fortunately, the delay of game penalty may have saved all of this.
Wow. Charlie Neal once again with his encyclopedia of knowledge. And so what happened during that play? Tell us about it, Charlie.
He didn't even know the ball was coming. The punter.
He knows it's coming now.
I think they're ready.
You can believe the Mountaineers will be coming with it.
And a pretty good punt. He got off. Skinner all the way back to about the 34-yard line. We got a couple of flags down. And he gets it out to the 41, but a couple of flags are down. And that would indicate that it may be against the Mountaineers for some type of illegal block.
You would imagine so, especially the position and where the flag was thrown.
Holding is the preliminary indication against Appalachian State. And occurred at about the 37, 38-yard line, so they'll mark it off from the spot.
Curtis Blow had the song, those are the breaks. Break it up, break it up, break it up. And that's exactly what happened here. Hey, that's a little cold out there, a little nippy. Got to give a lot of credit to this officiating crew doing an excellent job in this game. And you know what, Charlie, not many penalties being called in this game. As a matter of fact, both teams have 5 penalties. 45 yards penalized for FAMU, 20 yards for ASU.
And they keep the ball on the ground. That is the Mountaineers. Razak on the carry. Corey Johnson on the stop. He is back. Remember, he went off the field in the last series of plays, but he didn't stay off long. And you talk about this Mountaineer team. They came in averaging just under 31 points a game. They held their opponents to about 16. FAMU about 40 points a game. So they're right around their average right now. 8:35 is the time remaining. The clock running down in the 4th quarter. Reeves, plenty of time, throws, and they're going to call it a completion. Right shy of the midfield strike. I think the officials looked at each other to make sure he got his hands down or his feet down. Razak was the man on the stop coming out of the backfield.
That was an excellent catch by Kareem. Watch Kareem, number 13. 13 might be an unlucky number for some, but it's a lucky number for Kareem. Kareem catches this football, and he has presence of mind not only to catch it, but to roll out of bounds and savor the down.
1st and 10. Mountaineers. Reeves back to pass, has plenty of time, goes, and he throws it, and it's incomplete. Wilcox going across the middle, and it was Vernon Mitchell who was defending him.
Sign of a good team is not how well you play, but sometimes how well you play back and manage the clock. And that clock is something everyone will keep their eyes on. 8:07 left to go in this game. FAMU with the lead, 34-23. However, it's been the late surge of a team that doesn't want to lose at home or be the first loss at home in 2 years. And I'm talking about the Mountaineers. This is what it's all for. You either go home or you still play.
And the screen to Albee. Albee trying to get around the corner. He's back to the line of scrimmage.
Oh, there's a face mask on that one. And all the yellow flags came out on that. Son, you can't pull that job off. Not in a game of this magnitude.
3 flags down. Larry Brock is down for the Mountaineers, the offensive guard out of Long Beach, North Carolina. He is down at the 45-yard line, but we're going to get a face mask penalty tacked on to the yardage gained by Albee. And we have also Vernon Mitchell is hurt for Rattlers of Florida A&M. He's right in front of the Mountaineers bench.
Vernon Mitchell is holding on to his knee, and it looks like it might be serious, especially the way he went down, and of course, what he is describing to the trainers right now with his body language.
So let's look at the score of Troy State. James Madison, Troy State leading 3-0, and Troy State, James Madison winner gets the winner of this game. So this penalty, a 15-yarder, will move the ball all the way down to the 35-yard line, 36-yard line, as both trainers still attending to both players on the field. Larry Brock for the Mountaineers down at the 45-yard line, and right about the 49-yard line of Florida A&M in front of the Mountaineers bench is Vernon Mitchell. And we hope neither one of these gentlemen are seriously injured.
I tell you what, you can tell the pain, and Brock, you can see it. His hands were just twinging. I mean, you could tell he was in serious pain, and that's a knee injury. I don't think we're going to see him again. It may be the same situation that we have with the FAMU player as well.
That's Larry Brock, the injured Mountaineer.
You see Brock already has the right leg heavily bandaged, and on the other side of the field there's Vernon Mitchell. He's getting up and going off under his own power. So that's good news. Both gentlemen are able to get up off the turf. And again, we're faced with a 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers. They're down by 11, remember, 34-23. Vernon Mitchell comes off.
Vernon Mitchell showing a little spark that he can even run back to the sidelines. The same cannot be said.
At the FAMU 36-yard line, 1st and 10. Reeves from the shotgun, play action, keeps the ball, throws it across the middle. Here's Slade on the reception, and Slade struggles down inside the 20. Total on the stop, but not before 1st down for the Mountaineers.
Slade has plenty of hustle and will not be denied. You talk about a vicious hit. My goodness, did he take one? Watch him. He's a little fella. He's not the biggest fella out there, but what he does is that he says, throw it to me right across the middle. That's a sign of a good receiver. Now watch that hit. You see that? Man, he said to Mr. Brooks, I said, you're going to have to do more than that just to bring me down. Richard Brooks with a stunning hit, but Slade would not be denied. And you know what? He gets the respect of all of his players. They patting him on the helmet. They said, man, that was a good job. That was a good job. You were impressive.
And Brooks is the man who's slow getting up. He had his bell rung by Mr. Slade. Rashad Slade out of Reedsville High.
He's only 5'8".
In Reedsville, North Carolina.
He's only 5'8", but he doesn't mind going through the middle from the slot position.
1st down and 10.
See him there, number 5? He's ready to do it again, Charlie. He has been the spark for them in the start of this football game, too. Coming up with some huge receptions.
On the 1st down play from the shotgun. Wide open. Razak at the 5. He does it. He gets in. He breaks the pylon. Razak.
Now we have a football game. It ain't 40-23. It's all about 34-29. And I told you these Mountaineers, they don't know what it's like to lose at home. And they're showing you that feeling today, making the adjustments, matching the offense for the offense. And now FAMU has got to get charged back up again because you can't mail this one in, honey. You got to put it on post delay until the game is over.
So for their last 2 possessions, that is, the Mountaineers have ended in touchdowns. Reeves, a couple of passes. Luke Manuel for 20 yards. This one 19 to Razak coming out of the backfield. And it's 34-29. Here in the 4th quarter, 7:37 the time remaining. FAMU led by 19 at one point. Here's for the 2-point conversion. Reeves stands in there, throws into the end zone, and it's incomplete. Under pressure.
2-point conversion.
34-29. It's a 5-point ball game. They were trying to get it to 3. We'll be back. Look at the touchdown. The Marines. FAMU has had leads of 19, 21, and 19 points, and have seen that evaporate to a 5-point advantage here with 7:37 remaining here in the ball game. They have scored. That is Appalachian State their last 2 possessions. FAMU, meanwhile, has punted, and this one will not be run out. They'll start at their own 20 for the 3rd straight time.
23 points. 23 points in the second half of this football game. And all of a sudden, those folks who were sitting up there freezing for FAMU, they're freezing now. Those folks who were freezing for the Mountaineers starting to heat up. You see it now. Greyhound scoring drive, 7 plays, 68 yards, 1:29. Mr. Razi with a 19-yard catch. And he dove into the end zone.
Sider gives off to Ken Williams. Williams, a 5-yard gain out to the 25-yard line. Jimmy Freeman defending here to make the stop.
Another important factor about the Mountaineers, ASU 14-0 in the 4th quarter. FAMU hasn't scored in the 4th yet.
No, they have not, although they did score some points in the 3rd quarter. This one complete to Cedric Mitchell. Mitchell has a first down out to the 40 before he's brought down by Corey Hall. But a first down on the pass to Cedric Mitchell to the 40-yard line. Clock running down to the 7-minute mark. Ken Williams, first down across midfield into Appalachian State territory. Justin Severns on the stop. And another first down.
Once again, mixing it up, pounding the ball up the middle with Kenny Williams. And one thing about Kenny Williams, man, he does nothing but go forward. Very few times will you ever push this kid back.
Sider throws. Kanan Lamb breaks a tackle. Another first down and steps out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Justin Severns had to run him out.
There's the defense. They recognize some of the mistakes they've made, but the one thing about it is that there's a possibility this ball could have been intercepted. No way, my friend, because you know what? Anytime you are a receiver and you get on the inside of the defender, you have nothing but a completion.
Awolowo was the man who almost came up with the interception, but Kanan Lamb was the man who made the reception. Sider throws, and it's complete again to Lamb, and Lamb is down to the 25, 26-yard line. Phil Crum was there to make the stop.
If we could see that play one more time in slow motion, it shows you the effectiveness of Jawan Sider. He read the blitz. He saw it there. Kanan Lamb kept within his lane. That man right there, and look at those numbers, 117 yards. He's averaging almost 12 yards per catch.
Great day for Kanan Lamb. Here is Kenny Williams breaking tackles, and he's down to the 15-yard line.
Breaking tackles and breaking backs.
First
and that's
down,
exactly what he did.
First down and 10, Florida A&M. Kenny Williams.
He's a power back out of Baltimore, Maryland. I asked Coach Billy Joe, I said, how did you get this kid? And Morgan didn't get this kid. He says, Ronnie, see, my brother used to go to Morgan. And he still has contacts there in Baltimore. And he was able to get that kid out of there and ship him on down to Florida. And, man, he's making big-time gains for FAMU.
Talking about his brother, Jimmy Joe, who's the offensive coordinator. Sider back to pass. Has some running room, takes off. Gets the referee to get out of the way. Sider will get to the end. Touchdown, Florida A&M. 16-yard run for Jawan Sider with 5:46 to go.
Once again, they come across with the high-scoring offense. Every time the Mountaineers get an opportunity to think they're back into this game, what happens? You see the Rattlers. And the most important thing is that man right there. He's the star. He's the MEAC Offensive Player of the Year. He's the one who's thrown for over 2,000 yards in every scoring opportunity that has been made on the football field. That young man has been a part of it. I'm talking Jawan Sider, number 15.
Jeremy Edwards for the point after. The kick is up, and it is good. And we have a 31-29 ball game. An 80-yard drive. They did it in very little time. 5:46 to time remaining. It's a 12-point advantage for the Rattlers once again. And here's Sider. This is what did it. He saw nobody open. And then he decided to take off. Breaks it to the outside and takes it in unmolested.
The Marines.
Here you see Jawan Sider, who's accounted for just about every touchdown. He had a 15-yard pass to Lamb, a 26-yard pass to Lamb, a 7-yard run. He had a 6-yard run. Let's see, what else did he do? He had a 30-yard pass to Bendros, and he had a 16-yard run. He's been in every touchdown that the
But the one thing I love about football, you can talk the Juwan side all you want. The one thing I love about football, unlike any other sport, if everybody else doesn't do their job, you have no success. And the entire team has played well on both sides of the ball.
Skinner trying to get outside. Skinner breaks it up the middle, and he is out to the 28-yard line. And that's where the Mountaineers will go to work. First down and 10 as Andre Brooks on the special teams for the Rattlers brings Skinner down.
You know what? Talk about that scoring drive. Woo, baby, it was a good one. And once again, they took very short periods of time to score. I thought they were going to try to run the clock down. I really did. And it looked that way with Kenny Williams running straight up the middle. But when Kenny Williams starts breaking tackles like that, breaks off a little something. You got to go into the end zone. There's the great scoring drive. 7 plays, 80 yards, a minute 46, a 15-yard touchdown run by Juwan Site.
Here's Reeves reversing his field, looking long. Incomplete. Nobody there. Slade the closest to it. One of the things that has really been a telltale sign in the passing game for the Mountaineers today is the fact that the two-time number 1 all-conference receiver, Darryl Skinner, only has 2 receptions today for 8 yards.
The thing is that when you talk about the number 2 all-time receiver here, look at my man with the big old ponytail. Yeah, baby, I'm ready. Look at him. Look at him. Go on. Come on. Talk that stuff.
That's Nua, the center.
Nua, looking like David Tua.
Second down.
They might be related.
Second and 10. Reeves back to pass. Stands in there, has plenty of time. Now he's going to throw it, has a man out there, and that's going to be incomplete. Out of bounds. Skinner was the intended receiver.
But Aaron Gray was right there. Aaron Gray was right there on the play. And, I mean, he flew to the other side zone. I mean, he flew. Watch him. You see him. I'm talking Reeves going back to pass. David Reeves, fine quarterback. You know, it's sort of funny, a two-hit monster. You don't know who you're going to get throwing the football for them. But watch Reeves. Number 2. See that? He went right into their bench. Breaking up the play.
5:20 the time remaining. Reeves. Play action. Rolls left. Under pressure and sacked.
Oh, man. Did you see that?
Yards all the way back.
Jerron Daly. That was the key. Coming over from the corner, the defensive end. He came right through his man. Then, of course, he had some extra help with Tyrone Johnson. And the thing about it is that Reeves is sitting back there, and he can't believe it, Charlie.
Jerron Daly, we've seen him just do amazing things from that defensive end spot. He's a young man who transferred in here and has done a great job. Had 9 sacks this year. Jerron Daly came in from Youngstown State out of Norland High in Miami, Florida. There you see.
He's a big guy, 6'3", 220.
Second team all-conference this year. And a timeout has been called by the Mountaineers. They have 2 remaining. Each team with 2 left. You see Justin Moore, who's the defensive coordinator for the Rattlers of Florida A&M. He has his group in a huddle. Ballstone Productions, accommodations provided by the Remodel Limited in Lenoir, North Carolina. It's located just off Highway 321 in Lenoir. Features a great breakfast to start your day. For reservations, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call 1-800-4-RAMADA.
See, I love that place. They had breakfast. At least I had a chance to eat. I didn't have any dinner last night. You know what I'm saying? It's my fault.
Yes, it is.
It ain't my fault. Did I do that?
In fact, you don't have to worry about going home on the airplane. He's got a Greyhound ticket for you.
Really? Leave the driving to us, baby. I'll make it down the scoring drive, probably get there faster than the plane. Because the way that FAMU scores, I think I'll get to Cleveland a little faster tonight.
Quarterback Reeves escapes one man, throws it long. Wilcox has it, but Wilcox will be way short of a first down.
Did you see Tyrone Johnson? He almost had an opportunity for safety, but he wasn't able to hold on to Reeves.
Got a flag. Let's see if it's against the defense. Maybe against Appalachian State.
It appears to be that way. Watch this. You will see.
No, it's a holding penalty against Florida A&M. Defensive holding. So, again, maybe that's why he couldn't find a receiver open. That'll keep the drive alive, and it'll be a first down for the Mountaineers. But the ball is spotted at the 38, 39-yard line. 4:30 going, and the clock continuing to run here. Down to 4:25. First and 10. Skinner on the right side. And sacked from behind. Skinner was wide open, asking for the ball, but Jerron Daly snuck up behind the quarterback raise, and Skinner saying, why, oh why did you not throw me the ball?
Tell you what, he just didn't have the confidence that he could get down there.
Well, Skinner wasn't that far. Skinner came back across the middle. If you
that wasn't his first option. You'll see Skinner. Yes, he comes right into your screen. He's right there, but the thing about it is that the quarterback didn't see it.
And in and out of the hands of Karim Razak, who could not hold on. He has a touchdown reception today. That one covered 19 yards. It is a 3rd and 19 for the Mountaineers. First down. Or 3rd down possessions, 3rd down efficiency. ASU 5 of 18. This is a 3rd and 19 right now. Reeves throws. Intercepted.
That is a huge play. That is a huge play. Anytime you can get an interception.
And yes,
who got it? We've been saying his name all day long. Richard Brooks. Richard Brooks finally comes up with a huge interception. And right now, they're saying, this is our game. You know what? FAMU came into a place where it's hard to pick up a victory. And right now, with 3:37 left to go, they could be dancing in the streets of Tallahassee. And the reason why? They're going to see victory once again and move on to the 2nd round of the Division I AA playoffs. And that speaks well for the MEAC.
Richard Brooks was responsible for the first touchdown that FAMU scored today, and that happened because of his interception that led to a touchdown. 3:28 is the time remaining, and here's the turnover situation. As Jamie Lovern's made the stop. Turnovers in the ball game so far. It's for FAMU, for Appalachian State, 2 for FAMU. Most points given up since October 9th by the Mountaineers of Appalachian State. Down to the 3-minute mark. Sider throws. And it's knocked away. Cedric Mitchell was the intended receiver. Phil Crum knocked it out of his hands. The ball was a little high. Billy Joe's team leading by 12 with 3 minutes to go. The clock stopped rather on the incompletion. Some of the fans in attendance here traveled all the way from Tallahassee.
You know what? You talk about the pairings. You're talking a number 4 taking on a number 13 seed, and you see what's happening. 41-29 on your scoreboard. FAMU. People say, well, after North Carolina A&T, how could they be ranked so well? It is the strength of schedule that gets it done.
Sider bouncing inside, going for the first down, still on his feet, and Sider is inside the 25 to the 24. We have a flag. Let's see what the flag is all about. Maybe face mask.
Oh yeah, he's definitely looking at his helmet and saying, you know what, someone was grabbing me by the face mask. But anytime when you're 240 plus pounds, maybe 245, Jawan Sider's a hard guy to bring down. They talked about their linebackers being aggressive, flying all over the place. You know, 2 of their linebackers used to be in the secondary. Maybe they just don't have the strength to deal with the quarterback of the size and girth of Jawan Sider.
So a first down, and the clock continuing to run. And unless something miraculously happens, this should be a FAMU victory. There's a 12-point victory advantage right now with a 41-29 lead, 12 points. And they just picked up a first down. And here's Kenny Williams, goes straight ahead. Albert on the stop. 2.5 to go. Again, the winner of this particular game, and right now it looks like Florida A&M will take on the winner of the Troy State James Madison game. Troy State, the 5th seed, James Madison, the 12th seed. And last year, it was a 27-17 win. FAMU beat Troy State in the first round to advance to the second round before they lost to Western Illinois. Here was a pass into the secondary. No flags are down. Yes, there is a flag. It's a late flag. Came out. Kanan Lamb was the intended receiver, and he was dogged all the way. They were looking to put 6 more on the board, the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Last year, Appalachian State beat Tennessee State in the first round, 45-31, and lost in the quarterfinals to Northwestern State, 31-20. So they're calling defensive holding, and that's a first down. And we're down to the 2-minute mark of the ball game. Florida A&M trying to increase their record to 9-3 overall for the season. Appalachian State fall to 9-3 on the season, but more importantly, their 11-game home winning streak would come to an end, and the 6-game winning streak this season would come to an end. Their season would come to an end. Something they couldn't envision coming into this contest. Sider keeping the ball, going straight ahead. Stopped at the 9. Back to the line of scrimmage, no gain. I don't know if I'm the coach of this team. I have my quarterback running at this juncture in the game, especially with a 12-point advantage, knowing you've got to play again next week. And here's our U.S. Marine Corps player of the game, Jawan Sider. The stats on him, 32-41, 307 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he also ran for 3. That's our U.S. Marine Corps player of the game. And Sider will call a timeout. Almost got a delay of game, but before he got it, he calls a timeout. 1:18 to go, 1 timeout remaining for Florida A&M. And again, they want to continue to, I guess, show that they really belong here, putting the points up.
How'd you get way down here? I left you down there. How'd you get way down here?
They called the timeout before they got the delay of game penalty. Second down. 2nd and 10. Sider looking to fade into the corner. Incomplete. It was Kanan Lamb he was looking for. And it'll bring up a 3rd down. The clock stops with 1:13 to go. I wish you'd just run the ball and get out of here. But the little short passes have been the thing that has helped them today. On the receiving end for Florida A&M, Kanan Lamb, 10 catches, 118 yards, a pair of touchdowns. Bendross, 10 of 90 for 95 yards. And here's a pass to Kenny Williams. Kenny Williams is down to about the 7-yard line. Also, Cedric Mitchell with 6 catches for 61 yards. Walton, 5 catches for 27. Jacque Nunley, who was their big man coming into the season, kind of slowed because of an injury. He's just a junior. He'll be back next year. Only 1 reception for 6 yards. He'll be back next week in their game against either Troy State or James Madison. So it'll bring up a 4th down, and Jeremy Edwards will come on to attempt a field goal. It'll probably come from about 25 yards out. And again, this is a result of an interception. It was picked off by Brooks, his 2nd of the day. So Jeremy Edwards with the 25-yard field goal attempt. Try to stretch the score. The kick is up, and it is good. 34-24. 44-29. Let's go down to Ronnie Duncan on the sideline. Ronnie?
All right, it's a happy bunch of guys down here, and the reason why they recognize they're moving on to the second round, and the reason why they're going to be beating this team for the first time anyone has done it in 2 years. That this house could not be broken. Well, coming up at the end of the game, we'll get an opportunity to talk to the man that did the house breaking, and I'm talking about Jawan Sider. Once again, those Rattlers get the job done. Where's the beat?
Keith, what's up, Keith? What's up, man?
As you can tell, these guys are happy about going back home with a big-time victory.
All right. Actually, everybody wants to moon for the camera. Everybody wants to say hello to moms, especially when you're on the winning side of the football game.
Your ticket stub from today's football
So we have a 44-29 ball game. Again, it's a 15-point lead. Remember, Florida A&M led it 19-0. It was 19-6 at halftime. They stretched that lead to 27-6 in the third quarter. A 21-point advantage, but Appalachian State kept coming back. It was a 19-point advantage for Florida A&M as the fourth quarter started, 34-15. But then Appalachian State came back and closed it to within 5, 34-29. But then Sider's 16-yard run kind of put the icing on the cake. That came with 5:46 to go, and then the interception by Brooks that set up this Edwards, the 25-yard field goal, kind of put the lid on everything here. From the 5-yard line, they're going to try a little reverse, I think, and it may have something going on for them. Albee trying to go around the corner. And let's go down to Ronnie Duncan, who's talking to Jawan Sider on the sideline. Ronnie?
All right, Charlie, we're here with Jawan Sider. And once again, Guy, you and I talked about at the beginning of the game. You said, Ronnie, they don't have a lot of respect for us, but we want to test their DBs, and that's something you did today.
Yes, they did, Ronnie. They came in. Nobody gave us a chance. Everybody thought we would come in here and lose, and they was already talking about the championship game come to Appalachian State because they got an easy. They thought they had an easy schedule if they can get past us, beat us. They already written us off. They were talking about the next game, James Madison and whatever. You know, nobody gave us a chance. We came. We knew we was a better team than our record indicated. We lost 2 games early. We still won the team. We were still filling our spot, and we had a letdown against A&T. But we knew we was a better team. We just didn't play that day. And these guys step up when it's occasion to play a big game, and that's what we did today. Came out and played a great game.
You know, so much has been talked about the offense, but the defense, Duran, I mean, let's face it, Tyron Johnson says, I'm a big fat fella. You're going to back that thing up, and he made sure they took some losses, didn't they?
Oh, they definitely did. You know, we feed off the defense so much, just like when they feed out they come and make them big plays and get a turnover. Every time they give us a turnover, we just try to throw it quick and get it and jump on the scoreboard early. And you know, when they play a running team, if we can get up ahead, we make them come out their offense. They want to chew up the clock, and they got to pass, and they're not a great passing team. So that was the key for us getting out early and getting up to a big start.
You had some holes open up for you. Let's face it, you've got a couple of running touchdowns in this game. There were times that you wanted to throw it, but they gave you too much real estate.
Yeah, they did. They a lot of teams like try to show like they bring more people than what they really are, and they drop 8 people off. And with a quarterback like me, not only I can throw it, I can run it. And when I see stuff like that, it don't make sense to sit back there and force it when I can get 10 a first down by running it. And that's just what I did today. I try to make no bad mistakes.
Is this an indication how strong the MEAC is this year? Let's face it, North Carolina A&T, they go through the conference without losing a game. They beat you guys because they were bringing 8, 9, 10, sometimes 11 guys on you. But then when you talk about 3 teams in the postseason, you got Hampton going, of course, to the Heritage Bowl, North Carolina A&T right now taking on Tennessee, and you guys taking on a team that had not lost a game here at home in 2 years.
Yes, it is a good conference. You got those black schools. These black schools play great football. People don't give them a lot of credit because they're black schools and they're small schools. But, you know, our coaches, the coaches at every school do a tremendous job, you know. They prepare these guys real well, you know, and we come out, they have us prepare for whatever they're going to do. And, like, you know, a lot of people say we couldn't pick up the blitz, but we got our line to go and get enough, and we need to eat them up.
Good enough, Jawan Sider. We thank you. Hey, look, I know you're a big old fella, but you can back that thing up, too. We're throwing it back to Charlie Neal. Charlie, you got a happy guy here.
All right, thank you very much. The final here, 44-29, and Vernon Mitchell appropriately ends the game with an interception. And the only losses that Florida A&M had this year were to Miami, who was ranked 12th in the nation at the time, Tennessee State, who's in the 1AA playoffs, and A&T. For Ronnie Duncan, Charlie Neal saying so long from Boone, North Carolina. The Aggies, I should say Rattlers, advance over the Mountaineers.